Good morning, everyone. Welcome to East New Market. Thank you for traveling down here in the weather. Please take notice where the exits are. The restrooms are over there. Drinks and everything's there on the side. If we do have to leave the building, just head to the closest exit, walk, and be very calm about it. We're going to start our meeting off this morning with the invocation and the pledge to the flag by Chaplain Sam. Good morning,
Hello.
sir.
Good morning. I will be bringing a prayer request list around, or come to us up at the table and visit us throughout the weekend if we miss anybody. But we do have Nancy Cox, keep in prayer for health. Phil and Joyce Herlock are both battling some serious medical issues. Steve and Shirley Austin, medical issues. And Joel McCrae, son-in-law, passed away. Please keep them all in your prayers at this time. Also, President Simpson's home company, Pleasant Valley, has lost a junior member, tragically, 16-year-old member, involved in a motor vehicle accident over the weekend. So please keep the Pleasant Valley and the Westminster and New Windsor Fire Departments in your prayers as they're dealing with that tragedy. So at this time, I'd like to pray. Let us pray. Oh, hear our prayers, Heavenly Father. Please wrap your healing arms around the members and their families. And, oh God, protect them and also protect us, oh Lord. Protect our military around the world. Protect our police and law enforcement throughout the country and even around the world, Lord. And Lord, protect our fire and rescue and EMS personnel as they're doing their everyday duties to serve their communities. And Lord, show us guidance and wisdom over this weekend in our meetings. And finally, oh Heavenly Father, during this Christmas and holiday season, we know that the calls will be many and they will be serious, and they can have special meanings to those members and first responders, but mostly be with those families. Please, Lord. And we pray these in your Heavenly Father's name. Amen.
Amen.
And if we could rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chaplain. At this time, we would like to have somebody from the East New Market Fire Company come up and do a welcome.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Keith Benton. I'm president of East New Market Fire Company. Glad to have you guys here. I hope you guys, for the guys that partook last night at Portside, hope you had a good time. And if you guys need anything, be sure to let us know.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please thank your kitchen crew for the great breakfast. Everybody enjoyed it and appreciate the hospitality. And I also want to recognize that young lady next to you. It is so good to see someone.
She's our hardest working one here.
I can bet that. I can bet that. And she's got her partner, too.
You guys need valet parking? She'll do it for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll have Vice President Lutz introduce the past presidents and the guests and state partners.
Good morning, everyone. With us today, past presidents, Bob Cumberland, 1987-88.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Gene Worthington, 2002-2003.
Thank you.
Robert Jacobs, 2004-2005. Paul Sterling, 2007-2008.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Frank Underwood, 2008-2009. Doyle Cox, 2010-2011. David Lewis, 2011-2012.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Mark Bilger, 2017, 2018.
Thank you, sir.
Rick Blair, 2018, 2019. Mike Faust, 2019, 2020. Eric Smothers, 2023, 2024. Skip Carey, 2024, 2025. Did I miss anybody?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Chief Steger.
I did miss him. Where is he? And I apologize. I apologize, Mr. President. I skipped right over your name. Roger Stager. 2000, 2001. Officers with us today, President Charles Simpson Jr. First Vice President William Faust. Myself. Secretary Doyle Cox. Assistant Secretary Jean Aaron. Assistant Secretary Richard Coons. And I know she's here, another Assistant Secretary, Jenny Wilhite. I don't know what happened to you. I looked up, you were gone, but I know you're here. Treasurer Ron Sarnicki. Financial Secretary Mitch Vogt. Chief Chaplain, the Reverend John Long. Chaplain Sam Mann. Attorney Michael Farlow. Parliamentarian Richard Brooks III. Ken Bush, parliamentarian. Executive Director Kate Lovelace. Executive Assistant Lynn Hawkins. Trustees Thomas Mattingly Jr., Vice Chairman. Timothy Robbie Blackiston, partners that we have with us today. State Fire Marshal Jason Mowbray. MIFRE Director Michael Cox Jr. MIMS Dr. Delbridge. Shock Trauma Rebecca Gilmore. I know she's here. All right. I think right now that's all I have. Did I miss any partners that are with us?
The forestry?
Forestry. All right. The Ladies Auxiliary, President Joan, name went right out of my head, Joan Kramer. Would you like to come up and introduce your people?
Okay, with me this morning, I have Junior Vice President Jennifer Moats. Corresponding Secretary Samantha Butterfield. Historian Kim Shelton. And Bessie Marshall Co-Chair Sharon Worthington. Way back there. Past presidents with us today are Elaine Huttenlock, 1984-85. Sharon Worthington, 1995-1996. Sandy Lutz, 2010-2011. And Teresa Chrisman, 2011-2012. Thank you very much.
One guest we have with us today, President of the Eastern Shore Firemen's Association, Kevin Kerr, President. Executive Committee Chairman Mark Bilger.
Thanks, sir.
Vice Chairman Vic Whipple.
Thanks, sir.
Ron Block. Tim Dayton. Chip Jewell. Bob Phillips. Doug Simpkins. Simpkins. Randy Smith. Roger Stager. Buddy Sutton. Skip Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Who did I miss?
Steve Cox.
Steve Cox, I apologize. Thank you, sir.
Vice President Lutz, you can go ahead and give your report if you want this time.
I don't really have much to add. My report was submitted electronically. I want to thank all the associations for welcoming me as I travel the state, and I try and put forward the agenda that the president sets forward. And I just ask that, and I know you keep hearing this over and over again, and probably will hear it over again from me, We need to get some younger members going in here. Look around the room. There's too many people that got the same color hair I got. So, other other than that, please see if you can find ways to entice your young members in your community to join the association. Thank you.
Thank you. First Vice President, Mr. Faust.
Good morning, members of the Executive Committee and past presidents and other members of the Maryland State Firefighters Association. I'm sorry my report isn't in. They're working on finding out why it didn't get put in, but it was sent. So it'll soon be uploaded. Don't have anything else to add to that. I do want to, same as Vice President Lutz said, I want to thank all the associations that I've attended and for their welcome and hospitality. And I'll continue being out there. Thank you.
President Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, or afternoon all. It's morning, isn't it? Oh, well, it's been one of those days already. So, good evening, afternoon, morning, I'll do it all. That way we're covered. So, special thank you to the East New Market Volunteer Fire Company for the work that they've done in getting us ready for the meeting today. They had a pretty big activity last night and had to completely redo things today, early this morning. Special thanks to our staff for Chris May and Richard Snyder and Frank Underwood, past president, getting in here bright and early this morning, I think around 5, 6 o'clock, getting things set up. It was a lot of work, a lot of effort getting things done. My report's been submitted electronically. It is on file. A lot of things have taken place within the past several months since our last executive committee meeting. Many of them everybody does know about. The move with the office, big move. A lot of work was done moving from 2130 Priest Bridge Drive to 2138 Priest Bridge Court. Sounds like not much difference, but it was a pretty good move of a couple blocks. And those that did it, our staff and Lynn and Kate particularly, done a tremendous job in getting all that done. Gives us a nice opportunity to have conferences and meetings within our own facility. We've got a nice storage space to be able to keep our equipment and supplies now readily available when needed. Gives our AV people the opportunity to have their equipment in at least a controlled environment, which should provide quite a big benefit maintenance-wise. So thanks to all that was involved in that and the work that they've done in my report. I've traveled a lot around the state in the past couple months. One of the big advantages was, as announced last meeting, I got the new vehicle, and congratulate the first vice president for receiving a new vehicle also. Our vehicle committee has done a tremendous job in keeping our vehicles and trailers and so on up to date, tagged, and the amount of work that gets moving with that is tremendous. So thank you to all of them and the work that they do. A lot of things, again, happening around the state. It's interesting as the legislative committee gets busy working for the association, getting things going at Annapolis, and we'll hear more about that from the chairman, Bob, but a lot of things happening there, a lot of things that we're looking at. Most of you saw in the last volunteer trumpet. Congratulate our volunteer trumpet people for the tremendous job that they're doing getting the information out. But the letter that the governor got from us requesting additional funding for our VCAF, our tax subtraction, income tax subtraction fund, or LOSAP, the Widows and Orphans Fund, and 508 funding. It's been a lot going on there, and hopefully we'll see some real positive results. As announced, the scholarship chairman and our chairperson of the scholarship committee, Barb McCrae, contacted me for some issues that she was having. Wanted to step down but remain on the committee. And I thank our Susan Mott from the vice chair position for stepping up and keeping our scholarship committee moving forward. Great cooperation, great work by our committees, and that's what we love to see, particularly when we're sitting up here. So thank you to all of them. I guess the other big thing that I've got right now, let me see if I can get it out here. Always something. I'd like to ask our executive committee member, past president Steve Cox, to come forward. Where'd he go?
Steve.
Ah, all the way in the back. It's okay. You need the exercise. Okay. You know, we as a organization, one of the things we do that we're stand out for and we're known for is giving. We give all the time. That's why we're here. We want to give, we want to contribute, we want to help those in need. I recognize the Bel Air Volunteer Fire Company, Steve Cox, as the chief, acknowledged that in just the past couple months, they donated a ladder truck to the Rosebud Sioux Tribe Volunteer Fire Department in, is it North Dakota? Yes. North Dakota. Took it out there and donated that piece of equipment, gave them something that truly something they needed, and Bel Air was able to do that. That's the spirit of the MSFA. That's the spirit of volunteerism. And Steve, thank you very much.
Thank you. On behalf of the fire company,
Okay.
and I'm now deputy chief.
Now, deputy chief. Okay. Well, you
Got a promotion.
one of those, yeah. Okay. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, for participating, and hope we have a good weekend. Thank you all.
Thank you. Now we'll go to executive director and the assistant director.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you received my report. I filed it electronically. I'm just going to hit a couple of the highlights within that report and some items that were not included. As President Simpson mentioned, the past few months for the MSFA staff has been extremely busy. We completed the move from 2130 to 2138. There was a lot of moving parts, a lot of different things that we needed to work on and get done before we got here today. I want to thank Lynn especially because she handled all the logistics of the internet, the phone, all that crazy stuff that goes on that you just don't realize how involved it is until you're in the middle of trying to move a whole office. So thank you, Lynn. We also had Bill Hawkins, Tim Thomas, Robbie Blackiston, Bill Faust, and Malcolm Faust who came out to the office and helped us unload the trailers. We got everything in, everything fit, which was nice. We downsized some stuff that we didn't use any longer, and appreciate everybody's hard work in getting that done. Please note that the MSFA main line number, I'm not sure if any of you have seen the notices that were out. We had, not an issue, but we had to wait for the NFFF office to be realigned before we could port our regular number over because it did belong to them. So the 2911 number will be up and ported over as of Tuesday, this coming Tuesday the 9th. So those phone calls will start rerouting back to us at the office. Safer update, the FY21 Safer Grant has closed. We're in the middle of reconciling our final report with FEMA. I'd like to thank our contractors, Heather Gorski, Debbie Kermer, Nicole Stottlemyre, Dale Bowen, Mike Alfieri, Steve Jenkins, and Austin Christner for all of their hard work over the last few years. They really tackled every project that was given to them, and we happy to report that we are closing out with giving barely anything back to the federal government, so that's always a plus. Thank you to Ron for keeping the financials and the reporting to FEMA solid and submitted timely every quarter. We've remained consistently compliant with federal guidelines, so we want to make sure that we always keep that in line with what our mission is, so we don't one, we don't give money back, and two, that we stay in the good graces of the federal government. Because we were still in an active grant status, that's why we were not successful in our application that we filled out in July. But now that we have officially closed this grant, we will reapply when the next FEMA grant opens. We've had a couple of people look over the grant application, and it's a strong application. We'll just tweak some numbers to include the closeout from the last grant. I won't go over all the projects in the application. We went over that in the August meeting, but if anybody has any questions on the application, they can reach out to me. I'd also like to acknowledge Deb Kermer, Dale Bowen, Jess Reel, and Bridget Weishar. They've stepped up to continue to follow the MarylandVolunteer.org leads in the meantime while we don't have a grant contractor to do so. So I really appreciate them coming in and doing that work for us, outside of the grant, so this way we can keep tabs on the leads that are coming in from interested members. And we do get a lot every week, so the people are interested in volunteering. We're trying really hard to get the departments to be more receptive and more responsive to their emails. So if anybody has any issues or questions regarding the Maryland Volunteer website, please let me know. I want to also acknowledge Dan Garrett. Dan Garrett is an IT technician from Sudlersville. He has stepped up to help out where Austin was filling in, or where Austin's position was, as far as updating the website, getting in, putting reports up with Richard. He's also been doing all of the posts and the announcements, and he's done a lot of work on the back end just in the last couple of weeks. So I appreciate Dan stepping up and doing that for us. Couple of convention items, and we'll talk about this when the convention team comes up. The RFP for instructors is out, so if you have anybody that is interested in presenting at the beach, please send them to the website and they can fill out the application for the proposal. Thanks to Cindy Johnson at MIMS and Steve Cox at MIFRE for their ongoing support, because they will be offering classes this year as well. The convention forms have been updated to reflect next year for 2026, and reminders for the joint memorial submissions need to be in by February 1st in order to be included in next year's memorial. The only other thing that I have this morning, and I was waiting because it finally got to me yesterday, the members directory. So I sent it to all of you. You should all have that link in your email as of this morning. I hope it went through because my email's a little glitchy today. But the member directory is completed. It's ready to be put on the website. I'd like you all to take a look. All you have to do is in the search bar, put in somebody's first name, put in the county, put in whatever search mechanism you'd like, and that person's individual name and their name, their phone number, and a direct link to their email will come up. And that's everybody that's listed in the directory. If there's things that are incorrect, we'll go in and we'll fix them. We have that capability to fix it in real time, so we'll be able to do that. Of course, it's a new directory, not a new directory, it's a new link to the directory. So if there's things that need to be addressed, we'll address them as they come up. And Dan is, ready and willing to make any changes that we need made. So other than that, are there any questions on any of those things that I've mentioned?
I just asked the members to review that document, and we'll vote on it tomorrow under action items. Did I send you a copy of this about the Commerce launches a free resource for nonprofits in Maryland?
I don't know.
Right.
I'd have to go back and look.
Let me know. I have a copy for you.
Okay.
But again, it's something that I think we should look into and see what resources we can get out of it.
Okay, thank you.
Do any of the members have any questions at this time?
You welcome.
Lynn, would you like to give your gala report while you're here?
Sure, she will. I have no report.
Progress is a good word.
Yes, progress.
Thank you both for all your work.
Sure, thank you very much.
Secretary's report.
Good morning. Should have a copy of my report. It was sent in electronic. Just a couple of updates. One, as you remember, at the last meeting, I gave you a update on the credentials. The final one, after we closed it out, we have a total of 342 companies that are members. That's including associate members and sustaining members. Of the 342, we have 15,085 responding members, 12,205 non-responding or associates or auxiliaries, whatever. So, and for a total of 27,290 members in the that we represent. Mr. Chairman, today one of your action items is to approve the minutes from the Pleasant Valley Executive Committee meeting.
Take a motion and a second from the members. Randy Smith, Doug Simpkins. Call for the yeas and nays. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Go back to the credentials. The credentials have been put on lockdown, or anyway, it's not on the webpage this time. That will come up on the 15th. It'll be turned back on the 15th of January, and members can start submitting their credentials at that time. And we'll go as, hopefully do better than we did this year. The one item I have, the president and I have talked about this in depth. Our webpage, we need to do something for it, about it, correct it, get a new web page or whatever. At the present time, I cannot, you cannot, there's only one or two people that can go in and make changes. And, you know, it takes forever to get changes posted. The awards page, for example, the Hall of Fame. I've sent several requests in to have it updated, still not updated. So somehow or another, either appoint a special committee to study this, or I don't know, but we need to get it fixed. And I don't know, the president can elaborate more on it if he wants to.
I think he does.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, Mr. Secretary and I have had quite a few discussions in regards to the webpage. I know that one of the changes that has recently come about is we now have a new webmaster that has been doing pretty well and trying to catch up and getting things done. But we're in the same situation. We've only got one person, really two people, I guess, with the chairman and the webmaster that have a lot of access and can do anything on the web page that needs to be done. It really is something that I believe we need to look at again to see if we can find a better process for being able to update the page, getting information on the page, getting some of the committees updated, information on the committees. We have no place where there are local committee minutes or any of the association minutes are really readily accessible for you all to be able to pull up and look at. And we've got to have that. We've got to have that more available to all of us and see what our committees are doing, what's happening at their meetings. I know they've been doing a lot of work, but we're not seeing it other than when we come here and we get a report once every several months. That type of information should be more available. So I believe it is something that needs to be looked at, and we need to talk more about how we can improve either what we have or make some changes to be able to have our information more readily available to the membership. Richard.
Chairman Snyder, go ahead.
When we went to first arriving, I was not a fan. And I can't say I'm a fan of WordPress, but that's my problem. Richard doesn't want to take the time to learn WordPress because it does a hell of a lot, but it's complicated. The biggest problem we've had is, I think, one, people don't use the on-website submission form for changes, and two, we had someone working for us that wasn't as responsive as we thought he should be. A site the size of our site, and it has become huge, takes work almost every day. It isn't like it was when I first started the website, where I could go in and put something in and it was good for 6 months. And I couldn't get any update information anyhow. Kate and Lynn are getting most of the update information and having it put out. With the addition of the new directory, the amount of stuff that's on, we actually have 3 websites, I think now, it is amazing. I would like to say we can add additional people to make changes, but I can tell you that unless you are technically into web development, you're not going to do that on this site. I mean, we can add people. We can give you access to it, but you're not going to do it. And I think the biggest thing is that we, and boy, this is something I've really had a problem with. I've had a problem with anything that costs money, because you know I'm the cheapest sucker there is. But what we really need to do is buy a web team of our own that will do this. First Arriving now, I don't know, First Response or something, they've changed their name. They're a developer and data collections, accumulations, statisticians, organization. They're telling us how much reach we're getting out of the website, how many people are being drawn in as leads. Unfortunately, the fire companies have to do something with the leads in order for us to turn that around into new members. But that's their business. Their business is not really updating on a daily basis websites. So we need to get people that can do that. Dan, I am in love with Dan already. And I
much
just met him
information.
this morning for the first time. But since we lost,
Christian,
huh?
Austin.
No, before, from Fred Cross's son-in-law, Greg. When Greg passed away, I lost my right hand and my left hand. Greg was a web developer and did it every day. I don't work well in WordPress, so I got to take a lot of the blame. But the site is so big, it does so much, and there is so much interaction available that if you need something updated and you fill out the update form on the site and send it over, it'll get updated. And I don't really want to say it was better when we were with Firehouse Solutions, because we could say, here, you take care of your page, or you take care of your page, because we did that. Nobody took care of any of their pages. They would just send it over to me and say, maybe this should go on the website. I don't know. So I don't know what you're buying yourself by moving. A move of the site this size, I think you're probably talking $15,000 to $20,000 just to build a new site and move all that information over to it. Come on, Kate. I'm just trying to buffer because I don't really want to go through this myself.
Well, and I will say, the website, we did have issues with the person that was supposed to be doing the stuff for us. Stuff would get sent over, and I'd have to follow up 2, 3, even a week later. So it was an issue. We did move over to Dan. Dan's been phenomenal. He has been posting every day. He's been on there fixing things that I didn't even know was an issue. Things that he's seeing on the back end. I'm not tech savvy. I have no idea. So I'm relying on him. So if there's other people that know WordPress and they want to jump on, that's great. The more help, the merrier. The only thing I will say to Mr. President's comment about not knowing about the minutes, we can't put up what we don't get. So if we don't get minutes from executive committee meetings, or we don't get minutes from Joe Schmo's committee that just met 2 weeks ago, and they're supposed to submit those minutes to us to post on the website, we have the platform for it. We have a page for it. But if I don't receive it, or when at the time with Austin, or if Dan doesn't receive it or Richard doesn't receive it, it can't be put up. We can't put up what we don't have. I've asked numerous times for committee members to send us updates to their committees. We handed it over to Austin. I had to get the online directory just for him to be able to go in, copy and paste, and you can't do that on WordPress. You have to be able to go in piece by piece, and it is time consuming. But it took me almost 2 months just to get the virtual directory, or the Word directory, just so he could use it and he could set it up, or he can make the changes. The changes can be made. The issues have to be put back on, the onus has to be put back on the committees. And when we ask for this information, the correct information, so we can make the updates, we need to get that in a timely manner, not 6 months later where now the information we were going to update now needs to be updated again. So if there are minutes, if there are changes to the committee pages, send it in. Use the online form, send it to my email address, send it to webmaster@msfa.org. That'll go right to, Okay, use the online form. Don't send it to webmaster. He doesn't want it sent to webmaster@msfa.org. But the information on the website is only as good as when we receive it and how we receive it.
Are there any members that would like to comment at this time?
Mr. Chairman.
Any members want to comment? There you go, you're on.
So I guess one question I would have, Mr. President, Secretary, is are we concerned with the website design? Or it sounds more like we're concerned with, I'll call it maintenance, like those regular updates. And if that's the case, then have we reached out to Responder Max and said, we'd like to add a couple bucks to whatever to have you maintain the pages? And I don't know if they even do that. I know for our department they do, but we're a much smaller presence on the web. So I just hate for us to make a jump without sort of analyzing what it is that our issue is. And it sounds like our issue is some of it's internal. Our committees don't get us updates. No website's going to fix that, right? No website company or support. So I just caution us to make sure we think through what's our issue before we just jump off of Responder Max or jump over to Firehouse and have the same issue.
Right. I think it's both. We need, need the committees to, go with it, but the design of it is
Hard to work.
Also.
Yeah.
Mr. President?
Yes, I really thank Richard and Kate for getting up and making the comments and getting us up to date on what's happening. I know Kate brought out that where we did have some issues, and Dan, welcome on board. I think that we've seen some great improvements so far. Bottom line is, I think with everybody, Garbage in, garbage out is something we've all heard in the past. Well, nothing in, nothing out. And I think that's one of the areas that we have to look at. As was put, if you don't send the information in, that's not going to be put into the website. You're not going to get it out to the people that go on the web and want to look at reports, look at committees, look at information, look what's happening. So it was well put, well said. I think that's where it's at. The big thing is, I know with the conversations with the secretary, wanted to get this out to the membership. We both are hearing, and I'm sure others are as well, that why is this not on the website? Why are we not seeing this? Where can this be done, and so on? We now have, I think, a source. Richard, you guys do a tremendous job. As you mentioned, it's a very big website. It's a lot of information. I know that it was a tremendous job in just getting it transferred. So nobody's looking at let's make a big move yet. I think we just want to make sure that information in is getting out. So I think that's a lesson we've all learned here today. So thank you all very much for the presentation.
All right, it sounds like the branch directors, we need to go back to our committees and we need to remind them that they are or should be submitting their minutes so they can be posted. They also should be providing the information so it can be shared with our membership. As far as the committee itself, with the new addition, it sounds like this individual is going to be a positive resource for us. And I think that we should, at this point, I hate to say wait and see, but give the gentleman an opportunity and the committee to work on some stuff and report back to us at the next executive committee meeting their progress. If at that point there seems to be no positive action has been taken or positive results, then maybe we need to turn this over to the Strategic Planning Committee along with the Secretary's office and the Executive Director and the IT folks and have them sit down and do a little brainstorming and look at what we have and maybe what we need to do as far as a big change. But I think, again, with the new addition and the comments made today, we as members of this committee report back to our committees, they need to provide more information. I think we'll do that now, and then at the next executive committee meeting, we'll ask for a progress report, and then we can make other decisions at that point. Are there any other comments by the members?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I agree with you that we'll wait till next meeting and see if we need any changes. But and I'm not a computer person, okay? So I just received a text a minute ago saying that our design and our website looks nice. Maybe what we need is get a media contractor or something like some of the fire companies in Worcester County use. That's who posts the stuff on their sites for them, which makes it easier for operation-wise. So maybe, like I say, we'll wait till next meeting, see if we need to form a committee to, or send it to my committee to strategic planning, and we'll move forward. Thank you.
Okay. Vice President Faust?
Yeah, one thing, I'm a big believer in the old adage, what gets attended to gets done. I think part of the problem is with the committees is I don't know if anyone's been assigned the task of getting the information to the website designer. So maybe every committee should appoint a person to make sure that that gets done. I know we're all busy, everyone's busy, but I'm just wondering if some people aren't just thinking that the chairman of the committee is going to do it or someone else is going to do it, and it just kind of falls off the table. Also, everyone has heard of AI. AI is coming. It's a very, very powerful tool. I'm sure the website designs and things will be updated very quickly when AI is introduced, but don't be scared of it. It's going to make things a lot easier. There's a lot of things that it can do in 30 seconds that would take us 3 days to do. So it's going to get better, but I think if you put someone in charge for each committee to make sure those updates get to the correct person, I think it'll make a big difference. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the folks in the audience that they want to talk about at this time concerning this matter? Anyone want to come up? All right. Anything else?
Yes. Also, copies of the proceedings book. If you need copies, at the back table there's extra copies. Phone directories. Also, If anyone needs a copy of it, on the back table. And just a reminder of we're going into the banquet season. Special recognitions. If anyone needs certificates or resolution, whatever, let the president or myself know so we can get the proper information on it. Today, I will be contacting the different committee chairs that are here. I need a list of your committee members, up-to-date list. I have a form that you need to fill out on each member, which gives their name, address, and email address, so we can get it on file, and when the next director comes out, we'll have the correct information. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Before we allow Chaplain Long to make his report, I've been asked to remind everyone that if you brought with you today a bid for the vehicle, please get that to the car committee prior to lunch. They will be opening the bids up at lunchtime. So again, if you have a bid, please get it to them, or it will not be accepted after lunch. Thank you. Chief Chaplain John Long Jr., sir.
Good morning. First of all, I wish everyone a happy Hanukkah and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Since I submitted my report, we only had 3 special tributes, and as of right now we have 6 special tributes. Added to your list, past President Ladies Auxiliary Peggy Zimbauer, past Executive Committee Chair Samuel Powell, and Ladies Auxiliary Historian Brenda Harrison are the 3 new special tributes we'll have. Over on our table, Turning Point USA gave us a case of Dr. Jeremiah's book, Vanished. If you'd like a copy, it's a good study guide besides the Bible, so be prepared for the final days. In October, I was elected to the office of President of the Federation of Fire Chaplains. So now
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was great to have 9 chaplains from the state of Maryland and Canada. 8 of those were paid for by the SAFER grant, so please, we need to have that SAFER grant because keep the chaplains trained. If we can get any resources for your chaplains, I'd be glad to help your chaplains out. That's all I have.
Are there any questions from the members concerning the chaplain's report?
You do have the memorial list. I emailed that out to everybody. Right now, I only have 198 names on that memorial list, which is way down from normal. So if your departments haven't submitted, Baltimore County, they have a hound dog up there after all their members to get their stuff submitted. But
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to turn the mic over to President Joan for any comments she has or her officers have at this time.
I just wanted to say we had a wonderful fall conference. We had a terrific presentation by Bob Phillips, letting our members know how they can contact their elected officials if there is a law pending in Annapolis that MSFA wants to support, so our members know how to let their elected officials know that they want to support that particular piece of legislation. We also had a wonderful presentation by Susan Hilton. She talked about her mental health travels, her experiences in getting well from depression. You could have heard a pin drop. I want to encourage you that if you are interested in this kind of a presentation for your department, contact Susan Hilton. She did an outstanding presentation. I'm looking forward to our spring conference. We're going to have Jonathan there talking about recruitment and retention for our auxiliaries, because I'm sure you're aware that we're struggling to get new members just as the departments are. And we need members so we can earn more money for our departments. So I'm looking forward to the future, and thank you very much for having us here today.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll move on to the Bessie Marshall Fund, if past President Worthington wants to come up.
It would take me longer to get down and to get back up than the whole report. We have paid out 7 cases so far this year. We're off to kind of a slow start, but there'll be more to come before the year is over, I'm sure. And that's part of what we ask you to do is to, as you're traveling around your counties and so forth, if you hear of members who could benefit from this fund, please make sure that you contact one of us or that you direct them to the MSFA website to get a claim form. If you'll notice today, I have with me a very special fire truck over there. Many, many of you remember Alan Steele. Alan Steele made that truck at least 15 years ago, and he donated it to the Bessie Marshall Fund to raffle off, and we did. And Betty Byrne from Joppa Magnolia Fire Company in Harford County won that fire truck, and it has sat as a decoration in her home ever since. She passed away 2 years ago, and they contacted us this year and asked us if we would like to have it back to raffle it again. So I consider that a real treasure. You know, to come from Alan, and I think many people remember it then because it made a big show back then. Well, I'm hoping it'll make a big show again this year. We'll be raffling it off all year. We'll have it at convention, and the raffle will go off at convention. And we're hoping that it will be a big moneymaker for the Bessie Marshall Committee. And I think for everybody to step up and just to honor Alan in itself. I mean, he was a real treasure to this association, even though he was from Pennsylvania. And I just ask all of you to reach into your pockets, buy a ticket. They are $5, but it's well worth that, I think, if you win it. It's a beautiful piece. And just don't forget, look for those people who need this fund, because that's what we're here for. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The ambassadors?
Good morning, all. Hopefully this is on. Okay, it is perfect. I've attended 15 events throughout the year in the past 6 months and have traveled over 1,200 miles throughout the state. The most recent event that I attended was the Fire Life Safety meeting at Manchester, where we discussed all of the plans that we have for this quarter of fire prevention. As always, if anyone would like for me to attend any of their events, please just let me know. You can email me, or you can come over to where I'm sitting and just let me know. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the members? Any questions for anyone in the audience? Thank you and for all the work you do.
Thank you.
We'll move to the Board of Trustees.
Good morning from the trustees, and also happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you all. We have 2 items. We have a potential line of duty injury from White Marsh. We received the initial notification, now waiting on the completed paperwork to move forward and make any determination. And also a possible line of duty death from Berwyn Heights. Again, we have the initial notification and awaiting paperwork to make determination on that one also. Other than that, that's what we have. Any questions?
Any of the members have questions? Anyone out in the audience have a question? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And happy holidays to you too. Judge Michael Farlow, congratulations. So look at everyone in this room, or everyone around this table, and if we're ever sitting in front of you, don't forget where you came from.
Guilty. I'll try to keep my report somewhat brief, but I may get a little emotional. Today is my last day as your, well, a couple weeks from now will be my last day as your attorney. I have considered this one of the honors of my career to serve this association. And letters and support that I got from all of you when I applied for this judgeship really helped cement my appointment. So I want to thank all of you. Now on to business. 20 years, I don't think I made a typo in something that I've presented to you, but there was a charter amendment that needs to be done to change the address for the association. And there was a typo in it when I looked at it this morning, so I won't have it for you to sign today. I will let you know that the substantive portion of the amendment is that the current address would be stricken, and the mailing address and principal office of the corporation in this state is 2138 Priest Bridge Court, Suite 9, Crofton, Maryland, 21114. 21114. So if that could be added as an action item for tomorrow, I will not be here tomorrow. However, if somebody could print out the version that I will send out to the executive committee today so that you would all have it available. It needs to be signed by the president, the secretary, and then all of the members of the executive committee that would be present for tomorrow.
Thank you. Questions? At this time, I'm going to go out of order. I'm going to talk about the Fire Laws Book of Maryland. At the last meeting, this body charged me with ordering books and also getting the electronic version and having it placed on our website. I reached out to the publisher, and there is only one publisher that we can deal with. And they said that they would be happy to work with us. They went to our website, and they discovered that we were posting the Fire Laws book in an open area that anyone would be able to access that. That is in violation of the agreement that we had with them. So I talked to the attorney, and we had taken the information removed from our website at this time. And I have not done anything with ordering the books because, again, with this change, I need more direction from this body. So the question, again, that we need to answer is, do we go back to a website that allows us to have a restricted members-only area that individuals, say like the Fire Marshal's office, who would like to have access to the Fire Laws Book of Maryland, would have to go in, log in, and become part of the MSFA's website so they would have access to it, the same as legislators and anyone else who would be interested. Or do we go back and just order 850 books and give them out like we traditionally did? So I would take questions now, but I would certainly ask that you think about it, and we'll talk more as we go through this weekend. Chip?
Just one simple question. Try again. There we go. One simple question: will the present website allow us to put a members-only area in? I think that really is a deciding factor.
That is true.
It is certainly possible to put in a secured members-only area. We had that at Firehouse Solutions. It was a nightmare. But we can do it. If there's a good reason and we think people are going to use it, and the question is, who's a member? Who gets authorization to go in? Now, when we did it with Firehouse Solutions, basically everybody that signed up on the website went in. And when you think about it that way, is it public information? All you got to do is sign in and go into everything we had. And I'm sorry, I wasn't listening, Mike, because I was working on something else over there. I mean, is this something that would be bad if the public knew about it?
It's copyright infringement, so it's not an issue of whether it would be bad. We'd love for the public
Got
to
you.
see it.
I understand.
I mean, there are websites out there that you can go and do case search and find information out about the laws and everything. But again, we're charged with producing the Fire Laws book on a regular basis.
Right.
And also our member departments, for many, many years that I've been chairing the committee, have always been appreciative to go to one book, open it up. The legislators, same thing. The red book is what they look for. And again, it's always been a positive, in my opinion, having the book. We tried CDs, but you couldn't download the CD on the computer. You had to keep
Not
the
anymore,
CD
right.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And then we went to the electronic version, and again, it had to be in a secured website area, which we were, and then when we switched to website, it then no longer had the private area or members-only area.
All right.
And that's what the publisher has a conflict with.
How do we determine who's allowed to access the site? I mean, if you can tell me how we do that, then we can start figuring out how to design that. Quite honestly, we could probably do it in the current site. It may be just as easy to pop it out into one of the other site hosting facilities that I have access to and simply secure that. It's real easy to do those kinds of things. The question becomes, who can, when somebody logs in or says, I want to sign up for this, who's going to make the determination that, yeah, they can go in? And be honest with you, the security on these sites, what it does is keep the robots from getting, the info. So it doesn't show up on, Google searches and that kind of thing.
Mr. Chairman.
That's really all it does for you. But if somebody from the publishing company came along and signed in and said they're a member, right? They're going to go in and say, oh, look, that's a copyright infringement. So somehow we need to have a process that says this person's allowed, this person isn't, or this role is allowed and this role isn't, and then figure out who that is, and somebody's going to have to manage that. I can tell you, managing password changes were absolutely a pain in the ass when I had Firehouse Solutions. A couple of times a week, somebody called me, Richard, I forgot my password. Okay, write it down this time or put it in your contacts, would you? It's a lot of work, but we can do it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Michael, with hearing all this, what is your recommendation to us from a legal standpoint moving forward with this? Are we just better off to print the books and be done with it?
Yeah, I think we're better off with just the books.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we print the books and we're done with this issue.
Second by Randy. Okay, go ahead.
Two questions. One, what is the cost of the books? And two, could this process also be part of the credentialing process and one log-on per department in the state? That question to throw out there.
Traditionally, to order 850 copies would run us about $40,000. The money is part of our allotment we get from the state of Maryland, and in that it breaks down what we have to spend the money on, and part of that is producing the fire laws of Maryland. So there is no money out of this body's accounts, let's say. It's money given to us that we have to spend on those books.
Okay.
Or on that publication.
Okay. And the other was just mainly a suggestion. If we decide to do it that way, make it part of the credentialing process.
Okay. Are there any other comments from the members? Yeah, Member Dayton and Member Randy Smith made the motion and second that we produce 850 copies of the fire laws book and then move forward like we have traditionally.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
At the last meeting, didn't we pick a lower number to start with? And do we have to change that to go back to 850?
We were doing 300 for the legislators and for the MSFA, but it was not for the independent corporations that are members of the fire company, was my understanding. Traditionally, we did 850 copies. It took care of the legislators, the governors, the executive staff, took care of the MSFA leadership, the MSFA officers. Each committee chair gets a book. Each past president gets a book. And then we were giving books to the Office of the State Fire Marshal for their utilization.
I understand that. My question revolved around the fact, did we not make a motion and second and vote that we were going to do something different? Does that have to be rescinded? That was the impetus of my question.
The motion was to produce 300 copies and do electronic version.
Right.
We can't do an electronic version currently unless we update the website, and we heard from the the chairman. So I guess your question, really then we have to
Don't you have to
rescind the earlier motion. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you. So parliamentarian, how do I rescind the prior? The question was, at our last meeting, this body voted to purchase 300 copies of the fire laws book and purchase an electronic version for the website. Now we're looking at just producing books only and not the electronic version.
So your motion from Pleasant Valley is not feasible?
Correct, sir.
All right, so the motion is negligible. So you could move to add, right? You can move to add the number of books to get into that number desired. I think that's acceptable. If you want to go the long way around, we make a motion to revisit, and we revisit at the next meeting. I don't think that's appropriate at this point in time. So my recommendation is make the motion to increase the number of books and move on.
Okay, so currently we have a motion on the floor in a second to purchase 850 copies.
Rock and roll.
Okay?
That's the intent. Yeah.
Okay? Does anyone have any questions or concerns? All right, yeas and nays. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you very much. Again, congratulations on your new job.
Thank you. Couple of other quick things. There was a question raised about some of Maryland's new requirements for buildings that are over 35,000 square feet, specifically requirements that are going to involve reporting how much energy is used and ultimately moving away from fossil fuel energy on those. That does affect fire departments, although not restaurants. So that is something that, although not immediately urgent, needs to stay on the radar of the association, because there will be fines that start being assessed after, I think it's 2030. That may be something that the legislative committee needs to look into to carve out an exception for fire departments. I don't think that there's going to be many that are affected, but if even one is, we need to try and stem that tide. The last thing that I have, and I don't want to take away from the president's thunder, but the other day, Charlie and I spoke with the person who's going to be replacing me. She's not available today. I'll let him make additional comments, but her name is Katie Steffi. I worked with her in the state's attorney's office for a few years before she moved to Indianapolis, or Anne Arundel State's attorney's office, and is now with a nonprofit women's shelter as their in-house counsel. She is, or was a member of the Galena Fire Company. Her father is a volunteer firefighter, and her grandfather was a line-of-duty death. She is invested in the fire service, and she's going to be a great replacement for me.
What was your name?
Steffi.
One more time for this.
Katie Steffi. Steffy.
President Simpson?
Thank you. Yeah, you did steal my thunder, but that's okay. Yeah, we've met with her, and she will be appointed to take Mike's place. Unfortunately, taking Mike's place, that's a tough situation. Mike, come on up here if you would, please. You know, we've all been really wanting this for quite a few years, and it's really, it hits home for me. My dad was in a similar position, and so I kind of know a little bit of what you're going through. Yeah, when Mike got the appointment, it was good and bad. You know, it's like, oh wow, this is great for him. This is gonna be tough for us. Mike's got 20 years of experience working with this organization, and I tell you, some of the stuff that he's dealt with over the past few years, in the last 10 years, I guess I've been up here, different things. been tremendous. And what a job. Looking forward to working with Katie when she gets a chance. We'll be doing a swearing in Huntingtown. She'll be able to be there. Unfortunately, couldn't be at this meeting. Mike, congratulations. Thank you. You know, really, on behalf of the association, that's a small
So at this time, we'll hear from the parliamentarian.
There's a director back at my table telling me I'm next. Mr. Bush, Mr. Woods, myself are here. You've already called on us. We're exhausted. Let us know if you need anything else.
We have a question.
Huh?
We have a question.
You have a question?
I do.
Great.
So we're going to have a new attorney, and that person gets appointed traditionally in Ocean City.
Mm-hmm.
But would we make that appointment today, or do we do it in Huntingtown when she's present?
I would do it in Huntingtown when she's president because you're going to swear her in. Okay?
Thank you.
Sure.
Does that mean we won't have an attorney then until Huntingtown? We wouldn't have an attorney till Huntingtown then?
She would still be able to.
Okay. All right. Randy, go ahead. Okay. All right, at this time, I've been asked to make an adjustment in the schedule. I would like to have the convention committee come forward and give their report, and then we'll move on to our state partners. So the convention committee, any subcommittees, please come forward. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, just as a point of clarification.
Yes, sir.
Right, you were talking about swearing in. If this board took the action to approve it today, I think that is appropriate.
Okay.
So approve it, and then swear her in.
Okay, so member Randy would like to make the motion that we approve the recommendation, and a second by Roger Steger for the appointment of a new attorney.
You don't want to be like the emperor with no cousin.
Sorry, sir?
You don't want to be like the emperor with no cousin.
Are there any members that have any questions? Any questions? Yeas and nays, all in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you very much. At this time, Chairman, go ahead.
Well, first of all, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I come off guard a little bit, but that's okay. Robbie Blackston, Convention Chair. I have with me Executive Director Kate Lovelace and Past President Sterling with me today. I reported out, my report is submitted electronically. I got a few additions to that, but just follow along, please. We reported out last Executive Committee meeting that we had a post-critique from the year prior convention. A lot of things was discussed. From that discussion, there was the biggest concern was our parade. Everybody knows that our parade has been declining over the last few years, reporting by the parade group. And this past year was the really eye-opener of, I think it was about 56 awards that was not given out because we didn't have participants for those awards. So with all that said, the parade group went into action after our post-critique meeting. And the next meeting was going to be held in October, which we had pre-planned that. So from August to October, there was a lot of work that was being done behind the scenes to make something of a change. With that, we met with the mayor of Ocean City and staff on September the 10th. Thanks to the past presidents and presidents, current presidents that attended that meeting with us. We asked for a response from Ocean City in reference to a weekend parade, Saturday or Sunday, and we needed a response back by October 29th due to the fact that was the convention parade, or convention committee discussion. With that, we were told no on Saturday, understandably with traffic, et cetera. There's some other concerns. So we shot for Sunday. Shooting for Sunday was out there, but we felt that that was a doable event for Sunday, and so did the mayor and staff that was there that day. Since that time, the week of October 29th came along, I got nervous. I will tell you this. I started getting on the phone, started reaching out to my resources, thanks to past President Steger, past President Sterling. We went into action and started going to council with people. We had no response from the mayor's office. It wasn't possible that the mayor or city manager could approve it. We had to go to the council. So we figured, hey, we'll go to the council again. I asked to be placed on the agenda October the 18th through a council person that drafted, with me, drafted an agenda item to be forth to the council. We are currently not on the schedule for the agenda in the town of Ocean City to talk about this. So, with that, I brought back to the committee on October the 29th with a lot of discussion, and all the meeting was on the parade. I will say that. There's a lot of discussion. At that time, I discussed what I just discussed with the body here today. But in that meeting, it was an interesting comment or suggestion was, could we look at going to Berlin? I, as chair, says, yes, let's look at change, let's look at something. In the meantime, we're still working behind the scenes, and a lot of time be put behind the scenes working with Ocean City. Well, guess what? The pre-committee met on November the 17th, and we decided to go and check out Berlin to see what our options were. I'm here today to report that as of yesterday, that group met with the city of Berlin. I have a representative from Berlin here with us today, and forwarded me the notes and the meeting outcome. With that said, I'm here to report today that we are moving the parade to Berlin on Saturday before the convention. Sunday, if we chose Sunday, we would have to change a lot for Sunday's events, and that would be hard to do. Memorial service, registration, bag stuffing, a lot of things had to move. So with that said, not moving anything from Wednesday to Sunday, we chose to move the parade to Saturday. With that, the parade will begin at 2 p.m., 1400 hours. Lineup will start at 12. With the walkthrough yesterday, the city of Berlin, or the town of Berlin, and their work, logistics, working behind the scenes, it's in work. If today, as I report, I have the representative from Berlin, and we'll be working straightforward with government in Berlin as soon as possibly Monday, is what we're being told. At this time, I would also announce that we will have a awards ceremony / after parade party. There is 3 options. The first biggest option is working with Ocean Downs, which is right across the street, kind of down the street from Berlin, to house all of our people, all of our membership, and with doing that, asking for the sponsorship from them, meaning the casino. I've been in contact with them, waiting for a response back with the casino to get this event sponsored. If not, I'm still asking for sponsorship for this whole event, even the parade, even the after party. We're trying to get this sponsored. Choosing another option, 2 options, Berlin offered 2 options to us for that event. So I'm waiting on the first response first. Also, Berlin has also offered at their fire stations that companies coming from afar could actually wash their apparatus the day of the parade at their stations. And if any of these stations have a display, apparatus on display for the convention, they can come back and wash it and clean it for that purpose and stage their apparatus at their firehouses if needed. We've had this discussion with the convention committee. I'm bringing it forward today. And I would ask that my 2 parade chairs, if they want to add anything or have further discussion, and then I'll open for any questions or discussion on this topic. Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All I'd like to say is we met with President Dave Fisher of Berlin Fire Company yesterday and had a nice tour through Berlin, looking at staging areas in the parade route, and went by his Fire Station 3, so Paul and Kate and Lynn We know where that was at. We went through the casino, looked at it over. Paul's the only one went inside, but he didn't win any money. But
Tried.
he said he tried. We knew you got hung up in there for some reason. No, but anyway, we feel by looking at it and discussing it yesterday that it will work for our parade. And I feel, you know, I'm not gonna say it's gonna work better than Ocean City. Ocean City works too, but we were real comfortable with the locations and the staging area, and feel that by going to all the survey we sent out, a whole lot of responses we didn't get. You know, any survey you send out, you only get half or a third of them back. But 75% of our survey said they wanted a Saturday or Sunday parade. So the convention committee is trying to do what some of our members want. And we probably got 75% of the people that go to the parade or the convention doesn't want it to move out of Ocean City. But we can't get an answer from Ocean City about, all they want is $1. That's my personal opinion, okay? We had approval by 4 councilmen and the mayor and the city manager to do it on Saturday, but it had to go to the council. The tourism director got involved because I've talked with him 2 times, and he was told to talk to me about the parade. And they said they lose too much revenue if we use the beach parking lot, half of the beach parking lot on Sunday for our staging area. I think that's my personal opinion, that's a wrong statement, but he's the one that's trying to do away with Sunfest and Springfest too, because it doesn't bring millions of dollars in Ocean City like Country Collins or Ocean Collins does. So you can figure it out and read between the lines yourself. So I support the move, but it's up to convention committee chairman or the association to make the decision. Thank you.
I just want to say, Roger and I took this to the steering committee of the convention back in September. And the bottom line of the whole thing is, the parade, as you know, has been dying off. This past year, it was not good at all. And, you know, our feeling was when you keep doing the same thing over and over, and you still have the same results, which aren't good, it's time to make change. And that's kind of what drove this whole thing. And like Roger said, the template down there at Berlin is just perfect. I mean, you'd have to go and see it to realize that, but it's a gift for us looking us in the face. It's a good change. So.
Any of the members have questions or comments?
We're not talking about the upcoming convention afterwards. Yes, we were talking about the 2026 convention would be this coming year. This coming year, the parade would be moved. And it's a Saturday before. And it's a Saturday before we start on Sunday. Yeah. It's a kickoff of the convention, it would be.
Just a comment from the convention meeting at Odenton, which I think for folks that weren't there, we've heard that jurisdictions around us have stopped having parades, and we never go back. So I applaud the committee for looking for options and alternatives, and I think making a change makes sense. And then we revisit that next year. If we don't get the result we're looking for, maybe there's something else to do. But I would hate to see us, after all these years, just abandon it because Ocean City doesn't seem to want to work with us anymore. So I would definitely support this move. And thank you, committee, for the hard work you've done to work on this.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for looking outside the box from a department that's halfway across the state to come to that event. Has there been any conversations with the vendors who bring apparatus? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, hold on, the vendors that bring to the show?
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, so I actually polled the ones that usually bring the apparatus. And from what I understand, it's a very small amount. And one of the reasons why we were even looking at Saturday, why we kicked Saturday around a little bit in the beginning was because when we bring in the apparatus on Sunday afternoon, once you're in, you're locked in. You can't get back out and that's why we stopped the exhibiting on Tuesday and they were able, but then they had to stay over to stay into the parade. So they would break down and then have to store the apparatus somewhere for the parade. But the overwhelming response was that it wasn't going to affect them really at all. And it was really, the departments are the ones that make the choice with the vendors to show the piece. It's not the vendor that makes the decision. So if we have this parade on Saturday, they can bring the apparatus down and then stage it over in the lot or at Berlin 3 and put it into the show on Sunday. There'd be plenty of time for them to clean it up and get it ready, because the apparatus doesn't move in until 11. But there really weren't many of the major vendors that bring in pieces, maybe 2 or 3. So, and that's pieces total, not vendors, it's pieces.
Would the traditional incoming president go through the parade first, and all that stuff will still continue to happen?
So,
This year is inaugural.
So this would be a neutral year to answer that question, I'm thinking, and this is me. Due to the fact that we've already had that, next year would start the president going out. Now, I call it going out with a bang, I guess. But this would be a neutral, and then we would start 2027 with this change. And to answer your question, sir.
Okay. And also, so if this decision is supported today, we would get the word out immediately.
Absolutely.
That we can start preparing.
So with that, the information today that I would take back, I have a representative from Berlin, we're going to get a hold of the mayor's office. He's going to bring it up in front of them, possibly Monday, and then we might get on their agenda the 22nd of December as early. If not, it's going to be the January 14th date somewhere in there, because we have to do the special events permits and all that. Basically, like we've done in Ocean City for years. Rogers handled that. But we would go, because this is a new venue, we would want to make representation at their council.
Okay, so that would be on the 13th, or
Of January?
June.
Oh, sorry, yes. The 20th.
20th of June. Okay.
The week behind this year, I'm sorry.
Okay.
20th of June, yes.
Thank you. And thank you for your work. Thank you for thinking outside the box. Things are changing all the time. I can remember when we moved to Frederick one year, I think we had an event up there, the anniversary. I might have been up there years ago. So doing something like this, it might bring the attention to the younger people as we're trying to support. So I support this concept very much. Thank you.
Okay.
I think Kate had one more on that. Okay. She had some information.
Well, some of the things that we talked about, and when we're talking about increased participation, we heard throughout, and I know we didn't get a large response to the survey, but we did have a large response, and past President Sterling is on Facebook, and he sees a lot of the stuff, and we had conversations. There was plenty. Whoever didn't take the survey, they were all over Facebook when we put the survey out, because they were like, well, what's the survey about? So we did hear a lot on that avenue as well, even though it's not recorded on the survey. People taking off the day on Wednesday was posing a big issue. The members can't get their apparatus down there, just on a random Wednesday if they're not coming down to convention. That played a big piece. And they said, well, if you have it on the weekend, we can bring it down. We're going to also look at, I know there was a concern about the Ocean City pricing for staying over Friday or Saturday, but we were looking at using or trying to partner with the Cambridge and the Salisbury hotels to see if they can give discounts. So you don't necessarily have to come and stay in Ocean City if you're coming for the parade. You can come in and stay north and then bring your piece down on Saturday morning. That kind of thing. So we're working on alternatives, because we know that piece was an issue, and that was an issue even for our vendors to come in on Saturday when we were setting up and opening up on Sunday, was the astronomical hotel prices, even with the discounts. So we're going to look at that as well, because that was something that we talked about yesterday, was if people were going to be concerned about the cost to come down to participate in a Saturday parade. There are other options and other places to stay outside of the city.
And I just want to add to that, and I appreciate it, Chief Sutton, that we're going to try this. If it doesn't, we can drive back and punt. We have to try something different to continue this association's convention and parade if we're continuing this. If we don't, guys and ladies, we see it already. We're already seeing it through our departments, through our own counties. We're seeing it with our own associations. I'm trying to make, with the committee and the support, to lead this organization with a convention that we can still sustain. And I do appreciate the support.
Member Jewell.
I support the decision totally. If you remember, I did an article in the Trumpet this past year talking about our parades and how important and how much of a tradition it is that we've had very, very few canceled. I think it was just 2, and one was actually for sandstorm, not really rain. And but having been an announcer for, I think, 30 years, I think we've gone from about a 3-hour parade to just barely over an hour.
Right.
And I think, Richard, you can attest to that. It is bittersweet for me because I won't be there on Saturday because of condo rentals, which may have a slight effect. We have a condo, all of our kids come down. So it's a little bittersweet because I won't be able to announce for you this year, Paul. Hopefully, Richard will be down. I'm looking to see if he's back here. There we go. You're around, Richard? It's been an honor to announce the parade all these years, but like I said, I won't be able to do it Saturday. But I totally support it. It's something that we have to do, and we've seen it from the reviewing stand for the last 30+ years consistently. So I agree with it totally and support the motion, and we'll make a motion if so desired at this point.
No, not at this time.
Okay, very good.
Skip, did you have something you wanted to say? Okay.
You told me I couldn't talk.
No, I said nobody could understand you when you talk, but you're welcome to talk and make any comments you want, sir. Past President Cumberland. Let's not fight over it. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I agree with what you're talking about, changing the parade. In our travels to our neighboring organizations, and I know Paul belongs to one of them, our neighbors to the north, Delaware, don't have a parade anymore. And I can tell you, at one time, they had the biggest parade there was, and they had a lot better attendance to their annual conference or convention. And any of the people here on the shore know that because I'm sure they participated. But there was a lot of competition in the Delaware parade over the years, and now they don't have one. And the other organization that has stumbled over the past couple of years because we don't have a parade is the Cumberland Valley Firemen's Association. Always had a parade on a Saturday and always drew a lot of people to it. So I credit the committee for looking at making a change, and I think it maybe will bring the younger people back again to help us. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any other members? Anyone out in the audience? I just have a question, and I know you do not have a crystal ball, but if we remove ourselves from Ocean City, will we ever get back to Ocean City if this doesn't work out?
Great question, Mr. Chair. I'll start working on that because I don't want hard feelings from this association, and we don't mean that. So I will do my best to make that not happen if something were to happen, because we have to have a backup plan. So it's not like this thing was thought of in the last couple of days. We've spent several months. So we're going to have a plan if that were to happen, and I respect that question.
Past President Sterling?
Yes, past President Cumberland mentioned Delaware. They were struggling, and they made the bad decision of they were going to just shut it down for 1 year and work on it. Never came back. Never came back. So we're trying to prevent that. And Kate reminded me, there's a lot of things that are going to be going on. We have work groups set up to cover everything. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of help. One of the things we're looking at that came back in the surveys was people are tired of trophies. And as Kate said, and Doyle will tell you, every year we're giving back 40, 50 trophies, even after weaning down the list. So one thing we're looking at is cash prizes. That's just one of many things with sponsors for those. So there's a lot of things on the books that we're going to do, and we're going to probably start tomorrow once we get through this. So.
Okay. Any other comments from the members?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Do we need to make a motion to support this, or how, I mean, I agree with it. And I'll make the motion.
No.
Okay.
According to the parliamentarian, we cannot take action on this till after the first of the year.
Okay.
Per our bylaws, and he's coming forward now.
Okay.
Yeah, just to give you a path forward. So, and I've talked to the chair here this morning about this. But as the president and the committee put their order of business together for the annual convention and conference, it is approved by you all at the first executive committee meeting of the new calendar year. All right, so that'll be in Huntingtown. All right, then it's incumbent upon the committee to make the notifications to the member companies 3 months prior, all right, to that time. Okay, now, when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at, we've developed this through the days of Leonard King, from a convention to a convention and conference. So to me, it's all encompassing, all right? And I think that's huge, and we probably need to make some bylaw changes here to accept all of that. This is, in my opinion, this is an epic move for us, as Chip just defined it. So the more we have consensus across the board, from the committee to the executive committee and then the notifications, I think the better off. It's a leg up, if you will, on the popularity of this as we move forward. The challenges and all that accepted. So that's the path forward of this. My recommendation is you do it in Huntingtown. The charge is to make the notifications 3 months in advance.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
So then that would mean we wouldn't be able to, I guess, announce it until February. Right? I mean, that's how I understand it. If it's not voted on until February, we
It has to
can't.
be approved,
Yep.
and then you can announce it at that point and put the
Okay,
information.
so that's
in there.
good. Okay. We'll just-
So,
And you're still waiting for a green light from Berlin, right?
so, yeah, thank you, Vic. So in the midst of all this, yes, we'll start tomorrow, working on the green light, so it kind of falls in line. We just wanted to make sure that the membership had this notification in a timely fashion, because that would be devastating if we did. So it sounds like, Mr. Parliamentarian, our bylaws dictate what we do, which is rightfully so, and we're going to be okay, as long as, and we'll fall in line with the city of Berlin, doing the council and the mayor thing, and we'll get this information out at the Sunday of Huntingtown, if you guys vote on it Saturday.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
and Richard, we can have a special executive committee meeting January 2nd and approve that, correct? All right. So we can cut that month and a half out of there.
How about
and
this?
have a meeting.
We meet, if we can't get on the 22nd's agenda in December, which I'm going to find out if we can or not, the next one would be January 14th on the Berlin agenda of the council.
So we can meet on the 15th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Just throwing that out there, the
No,
dates.
but we're not delaying the process in a month and a half, so.
Yep.
We can,
So, certainly not. No, we
Okay.
don't want to delay the process. They've done great work. We want them to continue that work.
Yep.
And when they have the green light,
Yep.
they come back to me, and we'll set something up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No problem. Thank you for your work.
Continuing on, just a couple more notes. First mail out will be coming out in January, as it usually does. So that mail out, hopefully we can time everything. And if you do have that meeting, we're going to put that thing out and throw that right out the front. It'll be in bold, so we'll definitely get that information out. Right now, we're still working on a host hotel, working with two different teams now with Ocean City. As we all know, that's a challenge with hotels and everything, so we're still working with that. And then now at this time, I know you might have some updates on exhibits, Kate, from the exhibit standpoint, or we?
We're pretty much same as last year.
Same as last year's
Everything
timeframe?
Everything
Okay.
opens on January 1st, as far as
Yep.
all that.
So we're right in line, but this was a big one. Randy, did you have anything to add from the administrative side?
No, I was just going to comment before Tim came in, that you also had some homework.
Yes.
Housekeeping stuff to do, so we were going to wait till.
Okay.
After you get done.
Yes.
confirm January.
Yes. And we're trying to do another convention meeting in January. So this all is falling in line. So we'll be able to report out in February also from the convention committee and all the information that's been brought forth for today. Randy?
We'll have an in-person convention.
Yes, we were going to have an in-person convention in January. Yep, yep, and all of our branches and everything. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At this point, Mr. Chair, I do appreciate the time that you've given us.
changing your agenda. And I appreciate all the support here today that's been brought forward. And that concludes our report this morning.
Are there any comments, questions from the members? Any comments, questions from the folks in the audience? Again, thank you for your hard work, and we'll
Thank you.
look forward to hearing more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to move into state partners. We're going to start with MIFRE. Director Cox. Then we have the Maryland Department of Transportation.
This one works? Yes, sir. All right, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Morning,
Members
sir.
of the committee. For the record, Michael Cox and Pat Marlette from Maryland Fire Rescue Institute. Give you quick updates on some of our activities over the past few months. I'll start out with the EMTB testing results. So for FY '25, 59 classes were held, 711 students, with a pass attempt of 82%. Again, this exceeds the national registry average. So far for FY '26, only 4 classes have tested out so far, which was 62 students. First-time pass rate was 72. After the second and third attempt was a 95% pass rate. So again, well over the national registry average. Don't get excited of that number, though. Again, there's only 4 classes that had reported out at this time, and there's a long way to go into this year. Remind everybody of some personnel changes if you weren't aware of them. We still have acting coordinator down in Southern Maryland, Ed Rashinkas. New state programs manager, Jeff Fleming's taking care of the North Central, Western, and Southern Maryland regions for us. New planning section chief that replaced Diane May, Bob Midkiff. There's 2 new instructional designers that have come on board, filling 2 vacancies we had there. And a new administrative assistant there at the Northeast Regional Training Center. So some of the new and revised training programs, as we have said at the previous meetings, it was anticipated we were going to do about 20 classes that will be revised and developed over this fiscal year. And I'm happy to report that as of January, first week of January, all the classes in the 1010 standard, the NFPA 1010 standard, will be rolled out. So that'll be Fire 1, Fire 2, fire apparatus driver operator, mobile water supply, airport firefighter, shipboard firefighting, health and safety officer, incident safety officer, fire inspector, and first responder inspector. So a whole host of new classes to meet the latest standard are being rolled out. So we're undertaking a strategic planning event. As I mentioned at the last executive committee meeting, some of you may have gotten surveys as we've sent them out to our partners. And then the actual retreat will take place on December the 16th in Annapolis. I just want to thank President Simpson, Executive Committee member Bob Phillips, and Training Committee rep for MSFA for attending and participating in this process, as well as our facilitator for the process. The Treasurer, Chief Sarnicki, is going to facilitate that process for us. So thanks to all of you all in advance for taking care of this for us. Still looking to recruit instructors. As of the last MICRB meeting, which took place on October the 22nd, we have 806 state emergency services instructors. 284 of those instructors are instructor evaluators. There are 17 instructor trainers. We gained 1. Still need a lot more of the instructor trainers. And then the next board meeting is scheduled for the 21st of January at MIFRE headquarters. We're still having issues with the instructor trainers. We've been to MIFRE Tech, we've laid out a plan and an alternative pathway to train more instructor trainers for those who may not have the appropriate educational degree that's required by COMAR now. Many of our partner groups had attended that meeting. They were supposed to have voted on it back in July of last year, and that has not come to fruition yet. So there is a meeting next week, and I'm hoping our partners will again be on the meeting so that we can try to get this through. There has been some changeover on the MIFRE Tech Committee. I don't know if that is what held up their vote or not, but this is something that we need to put to bed and finalize. National Registry testing issues, you may have heard from the last meeting or a few months ago, there were some students weren't able to log on for testing, and this was not a MIMS or MIFRE issue. It was a National Registry problem, and we got that taken care of pretty fast with the assistance of MIMS and our folks at our place. So it wasn't detrimental to anyone, and that problem has been taken care of. So we've entered into our budget process for the year, as well as some of our other partners. So basically, the direction we were given was just a no-growth budget. We did put in 2 over-the-target requests. I'm happy to report that the state EMS Board Finance Committee, as well as the EMS Board, had approved our 2 over-the-target requests and sent them on to the Department of Budget Management. And we really haven't heard anything back from them yet. We probably won't know anything till after the first of the year, as we go in to testify in the legislature for our budgets. So we just learned that we did get awarded an AFG grant, about $310,000 for some new simulation equipment and some turnout gear for instructors. We have some new props that are on the way to be utilized in the Fire 1 and Fire 2 classes. It's actually called a fire dynamic prop. It's a kind of a box, a metal box that you can see through, but it allows you to open doors, windows, things like that, so you can identify flow paths and things of that nature in there. So they can be used in any indoors, you know, in a garage area, engine bay of a fire station, or in our dirty classrooms or garage areas at our MIFRE training centers. So I think it'll go a long way to helping folks understand how things work in the fire process nowadays. Also, some water mapping props. They were something that was created by UL. Classes were given. We had many of our instructors attend them, and those are just started to go under construction about a week ago. So our ultimate plan is, between some of the funding we got from the AFG grant and some of the funding we put toward it toward the end of the last year, we're hoping to get, I think, 4, Mr. Pat, 4 props. I think we'll have 4 water mapping props, so at each of our regions, and then we'll continue to try to expand and get them at the rest and maybe some of the other academies across the state. Maryland weekend is scheduled for the NFA, February 21st and 22nd of 26. Folks can apply for that online. If there's any questions with that, they can just reach out to us, and we'll make sure we get the folks taken care of and registered. PDI, the exact date has not been scheduled for instructors. However, there is 1 date selected and 2 dates in April of 26. We're just waiting for the presenters to get back to us and let us know. And then last but not least, I wanted to let folks know of a new decon policy that's going to go in effect at MIFRE. As you know, there's been the talk of the town the past couple of years about cancer in the fire service and the numbers and the many people that are suffering from it. I know there's other policies out there about the no-drop SCBAs, that anytime somebody goes in, whether it's during a fire, after a fire, during overhaul, or even with some of the fire investigators, you know, they're still required to wear breathing apparatus and things of that nature. So our policy is a little different, and I used the I'm gonna call it a euphemism, but it's really not. But, you know, breathing apparatus in the fire service, you know, was really pushed back in the 70s, right? I came in the fire service in the mid-80s and people still weren't wearing it, you know, and that's how I feel about some of the no-drop SCBA policies that are out there. But ours is more of a decon, and it's something to help change, you know, the behavioral aspect of how new students function, so that when they come out and they come back to your station, they'll know that it's a normal process when they're done doing any live burn exercises to, you know, strip out, do a gross decon of their equipment, and then decon themselves with the wipes and so forth. So that'll be in any MIFRE program that has any live burns involved in it. Look, and again, we're not burning things at MIFRE that you find in a normal structure fire or a house. We burn clean pallets and clean Excelsior, you know, or propane, depending on the type of burn exercise. But it's all about muscle memory and putting people through the steps to help head off some of the numbers that are associated with the cancer problem in the fire service. So with that, Mr. Pat, you have anything? So, Merry Christmas. Any questions?
Do we know what the price of the meal ticket will be for Maryland weekend? I know that's been an issue in the past couple of years.
I do not know. I can check for you. And if I can go back for a minute to the new classes that are rolling out, we were pleasantly surprised there's not a lot of hour changes. In fact, more of them went to less hours than they had more hours. For example, shipboard firefighting? Yes. That's down 12 hours. Yeah, down 12 hours. So the shipboard firefighting class is 12 hours less. I think the firefighter 1 class went up 3 hours, but others have dropped 3 hours, 6 hours, and so forth and so on with the new standard, so it works well, so.
Okay. Are there any questions from the members? Any questions from anyone out in the audience? Thank you, gentlemen, both. Have a happy
No problem.
Christmas and a safe New Year.
Thank you, same to you all, appreciate it.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Captain Jeff Thomas, reporting out for the Maryland State Police Aviation Command. Also with me this morning is our Director of Flight Operations, Mr. Scott Curtin. Year-to-date, the Aviation Command has completed a total of 2,675 missions. I'd like to break that down by section for you. Our Trooper 1 Baltimore section has completed 489 missions. Our Trooper 2 section has completed 395 missions. Our Trooper 3 Frederick section has completed 413 missions. Trooper 4 Salisbury has completed 270 missions. Trooper 5 Cumberland has completed 274 missions. Trooper 6 Easton has completed 302 missions. And Trooper 7 Southern Maryland has completed 532 missions.
Captain?
Yes.
1 second. If you want to have a conversation, take it outside or to another room, but please, please provide respect to these individuals that come here to report it today. Thank you. Go ahead, Captain.
Thank you, sir. Year-to-date, we have completed 18 successful hoists. Year-to-date, our whole blood program has administered 143 units to 108 patients. As a reminder, we started our whole blood program on May 10th, 2023, and we have treated a total of 271 patients and successfully administered 353 units of blood. All 7 sections are up and operational. We have 3 aircraft in 4-year heavy inspections at this time. On November 12th, we welcomed 3 new trooper medical clinician paramedics to the command. They're in training, doing very well. We have a total of 17 trooper medic vacancies, and we recruited 6 trooper medics for Academy Class 160, which began in October of 2025. Our system remains intact, ready to respond through flight operations oversight and management of SysCom and the Operational Control Center to provide the most appropriate asset to serve our partners' needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Do you have a report, sir?
No, I was just here to answer any questions you had.
Are there any questions from the members? Any questions from anyone out in the audience? Thank you, gentlemen, both. Happy holidays, safe travels.
Thank you, too.
Time we'll have the Office of the State Fire Marshal, and no disrespect, Jason, I don't know, how should we address you today? Are you still acting, or are you back to Chief Deputy?
No, sir, still acting.
Okay, well, acting State Fire Marshal Jason Mowbray.
Thank you, thank you. 24 months in, sir. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Executive Committee members. I'm pleased to report the report of the Office of the State Fire Marshal on our activities and the events. I did submit my report electronically to you all, and you'll notice that there was also a supplemental report this month as well as it relates to NERIS, and I'll cover that later in my report. I would like to go over a couple of the highlights of my report to you all and discuss any questions that you may have. As you look for fire deaths, so far in calendar year 2025, there have been 35 confirmed fatalities associated with residential structure fires, 5 associated with vehicle fires, and 7 in other settings, for a total of 47 confirmed fire deaths across the state. Currently, there are 16 deaths pending determination of cause of death with the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. There have been 11 multi-fatal, which we consider to be double fatal or more, fires so far this year. As we've seen in years past, you can see in our chart, Baltimore City, Prince George's County, Baltimore County, and Montgomery County lead the area where we're losing the most citizens. That's consistent with the population density for those areas in years past. You'll also notice that at the request of the State Fire Prevention Commission, we're now tracking how many fire fatalities we've had that did not have smoke alarms present. So that data is now included in the chart that you have in front of you as well. As far as agency activities go, so far this calendar year, our investigations are on track consistent with years past at 845 fire, explosive, and other investigations. Our inspection numbers at this point, we're trending a little lower than we did last year. We're currently at 9,700 inspections. We're down from the year prior. We've had a lot of personnel changes and challenges with recruitment on our inspector side, so we've lost the personnel to be able to go out and do some of those inspections. Our engineering staff continues to work very diligently. We're on track with another consistent year based off of 2024, where they've done just shy of 1,300 plan review inspections, and our public education CRR outreach is pretty consistent with where we've been in the years past. We're just shy of about 125 of those events so far this year. On the legislative side, we have been participating in various work groups. The first work group I'd like to talk to you about is House Bill 468, which was the lithium-ion battery safety. I know that this is a very diverse work group that our office staffed. They've done a tremendous amount of work over the past year, and they actually just concluded the work and published their findings in a final report, which is available on the Department of Legislature website for anybody who would like to review and download that document. It's a very comprehensive document, about 70 pages long. I encourage you to take an opportunity to review that. It covers a lot of ground. The other work group is House Bill 222, which was the Fuel Gas Piping and CST Prohibitions and Study Act. We are working with the Department of Labor on that study. That study is ongoing. I do have one of my senior fire investigators, Deputy Chief McMahon, and Fire Protection Engineer Derek Murgatroyd are working on that work group with the Department of Labor, and that finding and recommendation report will be due next September 2026. And I just want to kind of point out that there was some activity in Baltimore City here recently. Baltimore City Council Bill 25-0062, which was a local ordinance that they had passed. Part of that ordinance does permit buildings up to 6 stories to be constructed with just a single stairwell. So that's a very concerning thing for our office. We continue to monitor that nationwide as well as within the state. So I just wanted to pass along that was the first instance of that making its presence into Maryland. We had several significant instances since we last met back in August. The first I wanted to touch on was Just this past month in November, Washington County, Clear Spring, our investigators did respond to what was reported as a fatal house fire with 3 fatalities. In the course of the investigation, we determined that there was criminal involvement involved in the fire. We worked with our partners with the State Police Homicide Investigative Unit, and it was determined that the 3 occupants of the home actually had been victims of murder, and then the fire was set to conceal the act of the murder itself. Very proud to report that those troopers in the homicide unit were able to make 4 arrests within a pretty short time of the initial incident, and the investigation continues and additional arrests are expected. We also lost a 50-year-old woman in November in Frostburg, Allegheny County. It's a very tragic incident. It was in the late afternoon, 2:30, 3 o'clock p.m. through the week time frame. Due to medical illnesses, she was bedridden and unable to self-evacuate from the home. Her caregiver had just left a little bit ahead of that whenever the occupant discovered smoke. She called, tried to request rescue and evacuation. Unfortunately, the fire overtook her before the fire department was able to respond and do the rescue on that. A couple other major incidents that you'll see in southern Maryland. November, we had a major apartment building fire that displaced 25 residents, resulted in a $2 million damage, so very significant for that area. Noteworthy fire last month in Cecil County, where a restaurant known as the Unwind on the Water sustained significant fire damage from it as well. And then we did have our first fatal fire in Washington County in November as well, in the Longmeadow area. Also in Washington County in October, our investigators were able to make an arson arrest after a Hagerstown man set a fire in a residential high-rise building. And we all know the significant risk of those type of structures, so we were glad to be able to close that case out with an arrest. Had some significant personnel changes over the last couple months. The first, you may or may not know, but Heidi Engelborg Ritchie, our Western Region Administrative Specialist and longtime Secretary to the State Fire Prevention Commission, retired after 43 years of service to the state. So her time goes back very far. She was hired by then-time Chief Bob Scheimer and loyally served the Western region for many decades. So, her retirement is a loss to the agency and to the State Fire Prevention Commission, but we're excited that she can start this next chapter of her retirement. Kind of leading up to that, we have made a transfer of Miss Allison Nicodemus, who currently is assigned to our headquarters office under the Logistics and Technology section. Allison's responsible for NFIRS data collection. She also handles our fee collection for all of our inspections and plan reviews. And she's going to transition into Heidi's role as the administrative specialist for Western Maryland. Over time, right now, we have a temporary assignment that Deputy Carl Whitmer is doing the secretarial work for the Fire Prevention Commission, developing a written standard operating plan or desk manual, if you will, on how to do that function for the commission. Once he's complete with that and Allison finishes her transition, she'll assume the roles and responsibilities of the State Fire Prevention Commission at that time. We will be hiring and backfilling her position at headquarters for a full-time data analyst to be able to manage the NFIRS nearest transition as well as our fee and invoice program. October, we were able to onboard a new administrative specialist at headquarters. She's helping us with all of our public information record requests and also our records retention for the agency. So we're very excited for her. We had Senior Deputy Bill Pennock transferred from our Northeast region to the Upper Eastern Regional Office in Easton. That was effective back October 15th. And here recently, too, I'm very excited to announce that we were able to add in a accelerant detection canine to Western Maryland. First time that we've had a detection canine in Western Maryland since the retirement of Deputy Chapman and his canine partner about 20 years ago. So we're very excited to be able to have that in the Western region, and I know that they're very happy to say that they've been busy since they've come back. We've been able to get them out on a lot of different fire scenes and have them working. So it's definitely a big boon to have Deputy Rounds and his canine partner there. Our community outreach continues to be emphasized, and our employees are doing great work at getting out into the community. You'll see in the report that we participated with, in conjunction with our partners at the State Police, with the Pikesville Improvement Corporation, to get out into the community for public safety and partnership. We also did a lot of outreach through our trunk or treat programs throughout the state with either the local fire service or law enforcement, to try to get messages out to our youth in the communities. We also focused on the Fall Community Risk Reduction Weekend. So part of what we were doing is the Get Alarm Maryland campaign that we did in May, and then we redid it as well back in the fall. In the fall alone, we were able to install 353 smoke alarms and 64 carbon monoxide detectors. We will be coming out with our 2026 weekends for the spring and the fall, and it's really important that we're able to partner with the fire service to get that message out. I have a very small staff that's spread throughout the state with a lot of responsibilities, and we can't reach all of our neighborhoods and our at-risk homes on our own. So we definitely need the fire service to partner with us to get that message out. We do have smoke alarms available. We do have carbon monoxide alarms available. So, we encourage you to take that message back to your local departments and try to emphasize the importance of getting out into the communities with that. We continue to try to expand our social media outreach. We actually added on a new full-time public information officer, Non Ho, and she now serves as our PIO and our videographer. So we've done a lot of new community outreach. You may have seen a few of the highlights that we've started on our social media. As we did an anniversary video commemorating our 131st year of service. We did a public safety advisory highlighting the life-saving impact of fire sprinklers in Maryland. We also did a 4th of July fire safety message as it relates to fireworks, and we tooled that in a way that we can use it year-round. We also did a behind-the-scenes look at the Mid-Atlantic Life Safety Conference, and then we did a very short documentary about the graduation of Accelerant Canine Quinn and Senior Deputy Adam Rounds at the ATF National Canine Division. So we're really trying to push that message out, looking at new ways that we can either showcase public safety news, fire safety messages, as well as our staff. In October, we also we're proud to partner with the State Fire Prevention Commission for the 66th Annual Mid-Atlantic Life Safety Conference in Annapolis. It was a very successful program, and it was highlighted by the fire chief of the DC Fire Department, who spoke about the plane crash and command challenges that they encountered at that incident. So that was a very good program, well attended, and I hope that more of you can attend next year as well. Just this week, we actually hosted the NFPA 1 and 101 update as a result of the adoption of the new fire prevention code. And I definitely want to thank Chief Ken Bush and his staff for making it a very successful program and ensuring that the Maryland amendments were relayed and educated to all the attendees. We had nearly 300 attendees at 3 different sessions. The interest was so strong that we almost immediately filled the first 2 sessions. They each had a capacity of 100 students each, nearly filled those completely, and we had to do a third day. And I would also like to note that for the first time, Baltimore City Fire Department had about a dozen employees that are involved in code enforcement attend that program. So we're working hard to build a relationship with Baltimore City Fire Department and opportunities that we can continue to partner with them on fire safety and community outreach. So we're very happy to have them attend. And they've also started to attend the Fire Prevention Commission meetings now as well. So things are looking up for that. Coming into the end of the calendar year as it relates to ENFRS, We've actually got one county and department that is delinquent in their records, and that is Rock Hall in Kent County, who is missing February to June. So we've made some really good progress, and we're confident that we'll be able to close out that year with 100% participation. You'll see in other news where we continue to work on our fleet. And, as the director of MIFRE had noted with cancer protection and prevention, we're moving all of our investigators over to pickup trucks so that we have a separate compartment from all of their investigative gear and equipment. We continue to roll that out. We just received 10 new pickup trucks that we're going to be building out for our investigators and bomb technicians. We're finishing up a refresh of our headquarters office at Pikesville at the State Police Headquarters, as well as the Lower Eastern Shore. They're getting a facelift of new paint, carpet, and some other aspects of the offices. And we're also relocating our Northeast office in Hartford County. For those that may not know, the Bel Air District Court building is slated to be shut down, demolished, and rebuilt. When it's rebuilt, it will no longer be a multi-service building. It'll be focused on judicial functions. So we had to find a new home for our Northeast office. We were able to work with our partners at the State Police Facilities Management Division, as well as the Department of General Services. And we're actually going to occupy a building that the state just purchased, which on the site of what will be the future court building, which is a bank on the Marketplace Drive. So we're going to be moving in the first quarter the Bel Air office over to that new facility. And probably the most important timely thing that we can talk about is the nearest update. So as I have been telling you over the course of about the last 12 or 18 months, the federal government is shutting down the NFIRS portal. Actually, within a few weeks at the end of this year, they're intending to shut it down due to the age of the system and the security vulnerabilities that it creates. And they're moving to a new cloud-based system called NERIS. NERIS is live, NERIS is working, and we have been working with all of our fire service partners, career and volunteer throughout the state to migrate their systems over to NERIS. It's very important that everyone understands that they have to migrate to NERIS. It's not optional, and it does tie into the compliance for 508 money that we work with MDEM on providing to the fire service for that fire data. So the supplemental information that I had included in the report is actually a statewide list of all of the departments across the state and what their status is within NERIS. And whenever you have an opportunity to look at this attachment, you'll see that it lists the department name and the new NERIS ID. Your old fire department ID number is changing, and it's moving over to a new NERIS ID. And then there's a column that talks about the onboarding status. It says verified or not verified. So that's the first status, or the first step that all departments have to do, is that you have to go in, create your department, enter in your apparatus and personnel, your users, and then the second part is hitting the validation button. Whenever you do that, that basically is telling U.S. Fire Administration and our office that you have verified the fire department information is correct, your apparatus is listed correct, and you have your users entered into the system. The second column you'll see is users created, which I kind of tied into that as to who is accessing the system, who's uploading the information, all of those records as it relates to the users in the NERIS system. And then the reporting status is the other column you'll see there. Right now, there's a lot of not reporting in red, and that's okay. As I have said before, right now what we're doing is all fire data for calendar year 2025 must be entered into the existing NFIRS system. So everything that you're doing right now in NFIRS should continue through the end of the year. Whenever December 31st happens and we make that transition to the new year, everything after that, starting January 1, will be entered into the new NERIS system. But as you're finishing up your December reporting, could be into January, you're going to do the December reporting in NFIRS, but your January reporting in NERIS. That way we have a full, complete calendar year of data in NFIRS that we'll be able to pull out of that system They're basically going to lock it to where there won't be any more data be able to be entered into it, and we'll move into NERIS. So you'll see that that's listed in there. We do have some departments that are reporting data in both systems right now, and that's okay, and it's actually encouraged. It gives you an opportunity to learn the system, work through any bugs or pain points that you may have with the NERIS system. That way, whenever January 1 hits, you're ready to go with that. So I hope that you find that list helpful. If you see any departments within your area that are still listed as not verified or no users assigned, please reach out to the leadership of that department and encourage them to contact our office. Deputy Chief Joe Walters is our point of contact. His email is in the report as well. He is calling local departments. He's been working over the last few weeks at trying to call departments that aren't listed and getting them on board. I know he has most recently focused on Allegheny, Washington County. He's in discussions with Montgomery County. At this point, Montgomery County has their own in-house report management system, and they're trying to determine the compatibility with NERIS. A lot of the other jurisdictions are using a third-party commercial product that has already been set up for able to access and upload the information. So we continue to work on a few of those significant jurisdictions as well, but everything is trending to be on track for the December 31st cutoff. So with that being said, that concludes my report. I'll be happy to take any questions you may have.
At one time, there was a question about the information goes directly to the feds instead of you. Is that going to be a concern, or have you done a workaround on that?
So yes, you are correct. With the NERIS system, the information is uploaded, bypasses all of the states across the country, and goes straight to the U.S. Fire Administration. And then we are then able to go in and see that fire data. So as opposed to being the middleman, we're now going to assume what I would consider more of a role of validation and analysis. This has been a major point of discussion nationally because many states like Maryland have laws that tie fire data submission with funding. And the National Association of State Fire Marshals has worked very closely with the U.S. Fire Administration to make sure we have the tools and the resources to be able to do that validation. And over the last few months, they've actually created a dashboard and console, kind of a master control, if you will, for each state. So we'll have our own control board that will be able to give us all the information and all the data that we should need to validate compliance with Maryland law. So we should be good. We shouldn't require any adjustments in law or regulation as that relates to that because this just becomes our new NFIRS. The law says that we establish an NFIRS system and we create regulation as far as how it's administered. So this NERIS system will become Maryland's NFIRS, if you will. So we're confident that we'll be okay, although it was a little bit of a rough rollout, to be honest.
And then I know a lot of departments utilize information currently in NFIRS for reports that they may do or budget requests. Once the system is locked, will they still be able to go and get information from 25, or should they be looking to get the information out now prior to it being locked down?
So NFIRS will still be available for archival review, but there is a way that they can go in and download their data so that they actually have it on hand. And there's recommendations on small increments so it doesn't crash the system because it's a very limited, very antiquated system. So if every fire department in the country decides that they're going to download their own data, it would crash the system. So that would be those departments that want to hold on to their data and have it in-house and have a copy. They should reach Deputy Chief Walters and discuss how they can download that to the system, so that they're able to provide that as needed. Now the good thing is that when we switch over to NERIS, they're going to have access to so much more data, and it's really going to be able to help with their own analysis, whether it's for community risk reduction or for applications of grants. That data is going to be available to them in a very easy format in real time. So that's a positive of moving to the new system, but there's certainly going to be some teeth cutting as we transition.
Okay. Member Joel?
Jason, reviewing like Frederick County, once the county is set up, I see the county is set up as a user assigned, the companies have not yet. I'm looking at Montgomery is very similar. So this will change once the county is totally accepted, and then all the individual companies will fill in. So that'll all be as a group for the larger areas where the jurisdiction does submit.
So that's actually a complicated answer to your question. And as we've worked with UL, who developed the nearest system for U.S. Fire Administration, Maryland is somewhat unique in how we have things structured with independent corporations that are our independent fire departments that are working or nested underneath of either a municipality. Hagerstown was one that we just had a discussion with because they have independent fire companies within the city, but they work underneath of the city charter, underneath of some oversight of the fire department and the mayor's office. So it's very unique. So each situation may be different. What we have kind of worked through with many of these jurisdictions is if a local independent fire department is able to apply for grant funding on their own through the federal government, then they should have their own fire department ID and validate their own company, even if it's nested underneath of a larger municipality or county. If that's not the case, if the county or that municipality manages the grant applications for everyone under their umbrella, then there could be one fire department ID for, say, the city of Hagerstown, and then underneath of their department, they would list each individual station.
So we have, try it again. There we go. So we have individual IDs for our Frederick County stations, but the county government, we submit everything into the county and they submit it jointly to you. So we'll maintain a separate ID, be able to pull that information separately, even though it's filed by the county exclusively, right?
Yes, yes. If you have a unique nearest ID number, you'll be able to pull it as that local fire department. And then the county will be able to pull all of the fire departments underneath of the county government. So that we'll be able to get numbers two different ways, at the station level and at the county level.
Okay, because we have individual numbers I see assigned.
Right.
So we still go through the same process, and I assume probably Montgomery and the other larger ones, the same process of the county doing the submission, but the individual volunteer departments will have the capability of pulling information.
Correct.
Okay.
And it gets a hair complicated beyond that because every RMS system is different and how it is completed and uploaded. So, it may be slightly different whether the information from Frederick County, if all the fire departments report in that RMS system to the county's RMS and then gets uploaded, or if it contributes individually through the portal. So there could be some variance in how it gets to the U.S. Fire Administration. But to answer your question, yes, if you have listed as a separate nearest ID number, you'll be able to pull up all of your activity under that nearest ID number.
Past President Eric Smothers.
I think Chip was answering some of my questions because as folks are not registered yet, and like Frederick County's not, if they have to go in individually, because this is going to affect people's 508 funds, because I know what's going to happen after the first of the year and folks don't start getting their checks. The phone lines are going to start to light up about not getting payment, or the county's not getting payment for 508. So that's going to be a huge concern. And I think for us here for MSFA, we really need to make sure that we get the verbiage out right, and that the jurisdictions need to understand that their individual department needs to go in and make sure that they're logged on and registered, as well as the major jurisdictions, because you could fall under both categories.
Right.
But it's really up to the department chief or president to make sure that they are verified in the system. And I think that's what we here as MSFA need to make sure that verbiage is out, because if not, when it comes time after the first of the year to have those disbursements for 508 funds, your phones are going to light up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, and if you're not using the government's free portal to upload your data, if you decide that you're going to use your own third-party commercial RMS system, you still have to go into the nearest system and validate your department. So you may only log in once, but you have to go in, make sure that all your apparatus are listed correctly, make sure your users are listed correctly, and hit that validation button. And then you go and you use your jurisdiction's RMS system to actually upload the data, but you have to do the validation in order to make it work.
Okay?
I want to get clear on this. So the individual companies, even in Frederick, Montgomery, and the larger counties where the county essentially has assumed that all the responsibilities, you're saying now that the individual companies still need to go and verify individually, even though the county is submitting everything for those individual corporations?
If they're on this list with a nearest ID, yes, they need to
Then
verify.
they do need to, just to verify?
They need to, yeah, they need to validate their account.
Okay, I think that's something that's not coming out to our county anyway, so
And that's
I
on the
appreciate
nearest
that.
site. Where do you, is there a link to that? Where do you, as an individual department, where would you go to validate?
Yes, there is a nearest website that you can go to. It'll give you, I guess, some of the FAQs on the system, how to access it, and then there's that user portal. I know that there were some departments that were having problems accessing the user portal, and they were able to work through the help desk, the UL help desk, in order to be able to get access to that.
So if you want to sign in on the account, that's where you start, or do you go through?
Right, you have to go in and create the account, link it with your nearest ID number, and then you can access it at that point. So basically, they took your NFIRS ID number and that basic information and created the nearest account. Then you just need to access that as a responsible person for that department. Validate the apparatus, all the other information, users, those type of things, hit validate, and then you're good to go. But any questions, any specific questions, so if you go back to Frederick County and there's some concerns or confusion, please reach out to Deputy Chief Joe Walters. He's very happy. He's always available by phone or email to walk through any of those specific questions.
Yeah, everybody's
Okay.
saying, the county's got it covered, and really we need to do our own.
Yes.
Correct.
Receive the data for 508, so I'm not as concerned about the 508 as I am if I put in for a Fire Act grant, and suddenly they say, well, you don't exist. That's what I think. I don't think that information is quite out there as you explain it. Like I said, the 508, you will see that information. So I think that is hopefully pretty secure. But my concern is if we go out for a Fire Act grant or other federal funding of what it would be, if we're not, all of a sudden they go in and check nearest and we haven't done anything, we're out of it before we begin.
Right, yeah, if you're not validated or don't exist in the system.
That's what concerns me.
Agreed. And that was the big discussion. Actually, I spoke with Chief Walters about that at length yesterday. And he had that conversation with the city of Hagerstown, to build on your example. And they had decided that, I guess, in the city for that particular jurisdiction, the city applies for the Fire Act grants on behalf of the individual departments. So in that instance, they were going to just use the city's ID and report as a station to the city's ID. But that may not be the same situation across all of our jurisdictions. Yes, sir.
Okay, Kate.
So should I reach out to Joe for something to put together, something that's very simple, step by step of everything that they need to do and the links for that? I'll just go to Joe.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
wanted to check.
We'd be happy to help try to put together.
Because we'll put it out
real brief.
everywhere, so. Okay.
Perfect. Yep.
Past President Smothers.
No, I think Kate covered it. I just want to make sure that folks are going to get the right information and make sure that they go in and set that up, because you may not, even though you're doing it as the jurisdiction, they may not know all of the pieces of apparatus that you have that you need to list. So even the major jurisdictions may miss some of your apparatus if you've added something that's not on that list that could be beneficial to you. So they should, the message should be each individual corporation still should go in and make sure that they're verified.
I think the members here today need to look at the list that's been provided to us and go to those individual departments that are listed and tell them they need to go in and verify their information. No matter what, they need to go verify their information. And then the other stuff hopefully will work itself out. But again, we have a list. We've been provided with the information. When we go to county association meetings, just bring it up and say, you're on the list. Go verify the information. If you have questions, contact Chief Walters at the Fire Marshal's office for guidance and recommendations.
100%.
But I think the clarification, Mr. Chairman, is you can look at Prince George's County. Every department in Prince George's County is not verified because we've been told the county will take care of that. So we really need to update the information. To Kate's point, that's step by step. I'm on the nearest site now. I'm like, okay, how do I register my department? We need that kind of step by step.
And Chief Walters is our point of contact to
Yep.
do that.
Yep.
But again, we have the list. We need to go to individual departments and encourage them to go online.
It's not to register your departments, not.
Right. Okay. Are there any other questions? Thank you very much for your information and your time, and have a happy and safe Christmas and a happy New Year, sir.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
At this time, Commissioner Smothers, do you have anything for the State Fire Prevention Commission?
Well, I think the fire marshal covered it. I mean, we're getting ready to come into the legislative session. There's going to be some committee chair changes after the first of the year. Chairman Talkerman's term is coming up, and a couple other chairs. You've already addressed the fire books going forward, but I do think the way the commission is moving forward, we all know that we do life safety with our CO detectors and fire alarms and stuff, and we still see a lot of deaths that are associated with that. You know, I think the number one thing that we talked about last year was sprinklers. There may come a point in time that the commission may ask for some help for legislation to try to move that forward. That is really the number one thing that's really going to save lives in this state, I think, is sprinklers. And because of the politics that are around that, whether you live in a condo or an apartment, that number looks pretty big, especially when it comes in to adding that. I think that we're going to take a strong look at that in the next couple of years, and we may have to look at getting some support from this organization as well as our other partners going forward. But I know that's still a hot topic with the commission. Other than that, I think the fire marshal kind of hit everything. So.
Thank you. Real quick also, Acting Fire Marshal Mowbray, I apologize, I forgot to mention, we would like to extend an invitation to the new fire marshal when he is available, maybe to come to our Huntingtown meeting, so we can put a name and a face together and just allow him an opportunity to meet us.
There is no new fire marshal right now.
But isn't he, I thought he was being appointed at some point. That's not happening anytime soon? No, I'm sorry, I apologize. The superintendent of state police. We would like you to extend an invitation to the superintendent of state police to come out and you should never laugh at the guy that lets you go to lunch. Remember that. So please, if you would extend an invitation to him, we would appreciate it. I just thought about it. I should have done it under the state police captain. I apologize. But again, we would certainly welcome and extend an invitation for him to come to our meeting.
Thank you. I will do that.
Thank you. Okay. We will now have MIMS, Executive Director, Dr. Delbridge.
I don't have anything nearly as interesting, and I'll try to be brief. I really wanted to cover three things.
Doctor, would you bring the mic closer so they could hear you, sir?
Good morning. I thought I would cover three things. First, the days of yellow and red alerts are long gone. CHATS is officially retired. That you remember is the County Hospital Alert Tracking System. It's replaced by something we affectionately call EDAS, the Emergency Department Advisory System. If you want to see what it looks like, you can see it. The world can see it. If you go to the MEMS website, www.mems.org, there's a link to EDAS on there. If you have sign-in privileges, which you won't unless you're an administrator of a system, you can run reports from EDAS as well. We're aware that various jurisdictions are using it. You can hear them on the radio all the time referring to hospitals instead of yellow or red alerts as at level 1 through 4, which connotes how busy the emergency department is in real time. And it tracks the ambulances that are currently at a given hospital and those that are en route and tells you how long and how many there are. So that's particularly valuable information. It's working pretty well. We're looking forward to we receive comments all the time on potential improvements, and someday there will be EDAS 2.0. That's EDAS. January 31st represents the date of the first cohort of EMTs who have to recertify under the regulations that were promulgated as of July 31st of this year. I know there was concern that people would get lost in the shuffle, and the requirements for recertification changed a little bit, mostly in categorizing continuing education effort. We have been doing really well in terms of crosswalking people from their previous experiences to what's required. We encourage people to call if they have questions, and when they do, as far as we know, we haven't lost anybody. There are about 2,400 EMTs that are eligible for recertification. About 60% of them are already done. There's about 300 and change who aren't affiliated, and we don't expect will recertify. That's pretty typical of a recertification period, leaving somewhere between 800 and 900 who still have to go, which is pretty normal, actually a little bit ahead of where we would typically be 2 months out from a deadline. So what we have realized, though, is that people aren't so sure that they have to go on and fill out an application. When they call and say, I did all my stuff, but I haven't gotten my expiration date hasn't changed, we say, did you fill out the application saying you wanted to recertify? And they say, oh, I got to do that. I did all the work. Still got to fill out the application. Any questions about that? That seems to be going particularly well. We're also paying really super duper close attention to the turnaround time for people that want to reciprocate. So people who are certified or licensed in another state who want to move to Maryland, we, in my heart of hearts, I believe that ought to take 24 hours. You ought to be able to walk in with an EMT card from someplace else, and we ought to be able to issue an EMT card. It's not quite that fast because there are some things that have to be done. We have to validate that the EMT card that the person's presenting is valid in another state, and there's a need to do a protocol orientation and to be affiliated with an agency in Maryland. All in all, that takes about 6 days. But 6 days is pretty good, and that includes Saturdays and Sundays when they sign up on Thursday. We're ready to rock and roll by next Wednesday. The two longest parts are receiving validation from the state that they're coming from, and their completion of the protocol orientation, which is all done online. They just have to get to it. We spend 0 days in processing. And finally, this is the calm before the storm of legislative season. There are 2 things we're tracking aside from budget things. One is a bill that we introduced that has to do with updating the automatic external defibrillator law statute. It really doesn't change anything. It just sort of makes it more clear of what's required of somebody that wants to make a public access defibrillator available. So we don't expect any challenges with that in particular. And the other one is one that we anticipate to develop, which has to do with the creation of a mandatory equipment list amongst all ambulances in the state of Maryland, and the obligation of MEMS to inspect them. That isn't a MEMS-initiated piece of legislation. That has to do with a senator who had a close encounter with the EMS system and believed that the ambulance that his son was being cared for in was ill-equipped, which probably wasn't the case. But that was his perspective, and so we're working with that. And I have some EMS board things I could talk about quickly if that would suit the committee, if that's okay, Mr. Cox. Really quick, the EMS board has had some New members join. Jeff Hobbs represents emergency nursing. He's the trauma program manager at UPMC Western Maryland, and he's a paramedic. Yania Wagner represents a citizen from a rural community. She comes from Calvert County. She parenthetically is the emergency department nurse manager at Calvert Health. Meg Sullivan, Dr. Meg Sullivan is the deputy director of the Maryland, or deputy secretary of the Maryland Department of Health, replaces Dr. Callie Narriman, who left. And Tricia Wolford, the fire chief for Anne Arundel County, is the career firefighter, all new members. They spent one of their most recent meetings in a whole day long orientation to make sure they were up to snuff. I will tell you what they spend a great deal of time on every month, including next week, is what I call remedial action for EMS clinicians, folks that got in trouble one way or another, and they determine what to be done with them. And the overwhelming majority of those kinds of cases involve EMS clinicians who were intoxicated, typically while driving. Very rarely on duty, but occasionally. But oftentimes, most often, in their personal lives. And what catches our attention most often is when they fail to report it. And I just think it's worthwhile to point out the numbers of these kinds of cases that occur, and how folks don't think of it much as a significant infraction. They kind of think it was a momentary lapse in judgment. They were unlucky enough to be caught. They believe their record is clean. It wasn't worth reporting to anybody, and sort of dismiss it. That's not uniformly the case, but often the case. And so where we have a chance to counsel people under our leadership, I think that's an important consideration. I also point out that Eric Smothers has served on the EMS board as the chair of the State Emergency Medical Services Advisory Council, and his tenure has expired. He was a great board member and a great chair of SEMSAC, and that's being overtaken by Scott Haas from Queen Anne's County as of the next board meeting. And if you haven't done it already, it's not too late to get your flu shot. Please do.
Are there any questions?
Next board meeting is Tuesday.
Okay, one comment.
One comment. Dr. Dobridge, I just want to thank you very much for your stand on the EMS Compact. I know that you've been under a lot of pressure to try to make some changes with that, but the scope of practice in Maryland, the quality of care, and what Maryland EMS and MIMS is doing really stands higher than the scope of compact practice, and I thank you. The EMS committee had reviewed that, wanted to keep it as we have it and not go with that, so for the EMS compact, so thank you.
You're welcome, and thanks to the MSFA for its input. Really appreciate it.
Any other questions or comments? Randy?
Two things. How will the hepatitis vaccine, how will that affect the lack thereof, the system, the new requirements or lack thereof?
I'm not so sure that's really going to affect the EMS system that very much. He's referring to the new guidance that's evolving from the CDC, I think, regarding hepatitis vaccine for newborns. The recommendation will change from being vaccinated at birth to being vaccinated at 2 months of age. I don't think in that particular window that's probably something the EMS system is going to appreciably see. I will tell you, though, that my personal opinion is that the evolving change in stance for public health related vaccinations amongst children is definitely going to change the complexion of pediatric emergency care and what the EMS system sees over the long haul. Not particularly related to hepatitis, but things like Haemophilus influenza. There are things that I saw as a resident in emergency medicine that I haven't seen in 10 years because people were vaccinated for them. And I think that those sorts of infectious diseases will become, again, prevalent in our places, and eventually the EMS system will encounter them.
Can I say the seniors too?
And senior citizens as well, too.
My second thing is I want to thank you for assistance, with the, as the EMS delivering patients to
Yeah, that's a continuing focus, and I generally report to the board monthly and to SEMSAC monthly. What we've seen is a great improvement on the EMS to emergency department transfer of care interval. And we send the hospitals their data every single week. Every Monday they get it. And we know that they're paying attention to it because they ask us to clarify outliers from time to time. So it's not something they're seeing an email and just deleting. I mean, they're watching it and paying attention and trying to do things. This past year, we visited 3 hospital emergency departments, Anne Arundel, who doesn't make the cut but has made incredibly great strides into the busiest emergency department in the state and the busiest EMS receiving emergency department in the state. And we calculated that their ability to improve transfer of care intervals conveyed to, or equated to making essentially 2 or 3 more ambulances available in their community 24 hours a day because ambulances weren't sitting at the hospital. And they're right on the cusp of meeting the mark. The other 2 hospitals were Frederick Health and Meritus, who both do extraordinarily well at this particular metric, and they're like the 3rd and 4th busiest hospital.
Any other questions? From the members? Anyone from the audience? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you, sir. Also, would like to take a moment and just recognize Eric Smothers for his work and his leadership on SEMSAC and thank him for what he's done for his service. Shock trauma, and then DNR.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, I have our FY26 Quarter 1 report, which hopefully you all received a copy of. Our goals for 2026 are to improve our trauma centre capacity and throughput, the expansion of mental health services for all of our trauma patients, and further statewide Stop the Bleed reach. In the first quarter, our volume was 1,717 patients, which was an increase of 7.5% on FY25. So seeing a few more patients so far. Unfortunately, our length of stay has gone up a little bit. Our length of stay is, average length of stay is currently 10.32 days, which is up 1.3 days over FY25. We continue to focus on this, working on our discharge times. Challenges we see in particular in relation to our rehab patients, looking for beds to get them out to, but continuing to work on our discharges. For demographics, our highest admission group is in the greater than 56 age group, with 43% of our patients being above the age of 56. For FY26, we're also focusing more on our care of the elderly, the specific protocols and care needs that those patients need. And elderly includes anybody that's over 65. Mechanism of injury, our highest mechanism of injury in the first quarter was MVCs with 43%, followed by falls at 39%. And again, we have an awful lot of our prevention work is aimed on falls currently. We have processes in-house where we see all the falls patients before they get discharged. Inter-hospital transfers, we have had 17% from trauma centres and 83% from non-trauma centres. 114 air transports that have come from the scene, with another 100 that have come from our transfer patients. Lost inter-hospital transfers. We have had 44 lost transfers in the first quarter, which is actually well below where we were this time in FY25. So we continue to work on this, getting our throughput improved so that we have space to accept patients from all over the state. Our capacity, we've had 21.43 total capacity alert hours in FY26, which is again a little better than where we were last year. We're working on keeping our instances short, allowing us to just decompress quickly, and the majority of our capacity incidents have really been around about the 1 hour mark, so making sure that we come off in a timely fashion. The GO team has been activated 3 times. They have left the building on a couple of those occasions, but each time they have been cancelled before they actually reached the site of the patient. So just a reminder that if you do need the GO team, please remember to call them early, and also that they are always available for educational and training exercises. They have partnered with many jurisdictions over the past year. in some training, and they are willing to come out and do that again if anybody has need. Our Centre for Injury Prevention and Policy, so far in the first quarter, they've had 99 events in 12 counties, reaching 2,932 participants. That includes injury and violence prevention events, support groups, tabling events, but does not include the Stop the Bleed. So for our Stop the Bleed statewide strategy, our aim is to be in all schools, training educators, equipping schools, and certifying students. Also the public trainings with broad access and free personal Stop the Bleed kits given out to everybody who attends one of our classes. And organizational trainings going into different organizational churches, community organizations, and businesses. So in quarter one, we have had 94 courses in 14 counties and 1,601 participants. For a school curriculum update, we are fully integrated into the curriculum in Baltimore County, Howard County, and Harford County, and we are in process of integrating into Carroll County and Baltimore City. So a lot of work being done there. Our goals for 26 for Stop the Bleed are to offer public trainings in all Maryland counties, to partner with Maryland State Department of Education to implement bleeding control as a requirement of high school health education, and to increase partnerships with high-risk occupational organizations to promote Stop the Bleed training. This includes construction, road crews, electricians, and areas like that. And again, if anybody would like to partner with us, we're always looking for people to partner with us in training Stop the Bleed, so please feel free to reach out. EMS training and outreach, we have had 17 trainings in the first quarter, reaching 346 participants. These have included skills labs and stimulations, Greater Chesapeake Emergency Medicine Conference, medically directed rescue training, Army National Guard airway course, and an FBI Corps training. We also had our first EMS broadcast last Monday, which focused on hyperbaric oxygenation. So hopefully I hope people have got some exposure to that and learned a lot through the education there. We're enhancing partnerships and advancing our trauma care through our collaborative knowledge exchange with EMS. Go Team EMS training was carried out with Harford County Tech Response Team, and there were 25 participants in that. We're working and planning towards our next broadcast, which hopefully will be within the next month or two, and also to our spring conference. So if there are any topics anybody would like us to cover, again, please feel free to reach out so we can get those integrated. For our observer program in the first quarter, we had 76 US medical observers, observation time for domestic medical professionals and students, and also 21 international observers from 13 countries. And our goals for 26 are full prevention focus with efforts in post-discharge navigation and reduction of readmissions and re-injury. Expansion of our wraparound services for victims of violence. We have a lot of progress in that with our clinic. So any patient that is discharged immediately from the TRU from a violent injury is actually followed up and offered a whole load of services post-discharged in the hope that we will prevent them from being readmitted. And then further statewide Stop the Bleed reach with expansion of our public classes, hopefully moving into every county by the end of this year.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the members? Any questions from the audience? Thank you for what you do. Thank you for being here today, and wish you a happy Christmas and a happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy Christmas, everybody.
We'll have DNR, then we'll break for lunch. Don't forget the car bids. They need to be in the hands before lunchtime. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to report out, I
Excuse me,
did
would
submit
you-
my report, sorry.
For the record, would you state your
Chris
name and title?
Robertson, State Fire Supervisor with the Maryland Forest Service.
Thank you.
So just a quick report, I did submit my report electronically, so hopefully you have it. For 2025 so far this year, we've had 166 fires for just over 8,000 acres. Number of fires, nothing out of the ordinary there as far as our 10-year average, but the acreage is probably close to double our 10-year average. A lot of that's attributed to several larger marsh fires here on the Eastern Shore last spring. Going into the fall fire season here this year, we were pretty concerned about the drought As you're all aware, it's still pretty dry, even though, with the precipitation, the snow that we've had in western Maryland here on the shore. Fire season's probably pretty much over for us for the year. However, looking out into spring of '26, things do look still like we're going to be pretty dry unless we get a lot more moisture going into that spring fire season. It could get interesting again in the spring. Agency has seen an increased interest from private landowners across the state in prescribed fire. Our numbers of prescribed fires have gone up dramatically. This year in 2025, we've seen about 60 additional prescribed burns this year than we did last year. The amount of acreage burned is about the same, but the amount of burns is increased. A lot of that is just attributed to more interest in prescribed fire from private landowners across the state. We did form a prescribed fire council last year in September of '24, so we've been in place for about a year. The council's main focus is to promote the use of prescribed fire across the state and educate the public on the benefits of prescribed fire and what it can do and what it is and what it isn't, and just get the word out there. We're hoping in 2026 to have a dashboard, public-facing dashboard where the public can go on and see where burns are occurring across the state. And so you can see if there's a prescribed burn planned in your area and what the benefits of those are. Personnel and staffing, we did lose a couple employees through the voluntary separation program this fall. Two of those were directly tied to the fire program. One was our VFA, Volunteer Fire Assistance Grant Coordinator, who works with a lot of the member companies here on their VFA grants. Derek Albers, he retired in October through the VSP. His duties are being covered by his daughter, who we hired about a year ago. So she's assuming his duties as a volunteer fire coordinator. Derek also oversaw the federal excess property program. So that duty has been shifted to one of our fire staff positions in western Maryland. So he's currently Buddy Parler is out in Green Ridge State Forest. He's working on the federal excess property program. So he's still active in that program and helping people out if they need excess property. The other position was, it wasn't directly tied to the fire staff, but he did a lot of fire trainings. Chip Broadwater, some of you may know, he did a lot of, for the past 35 years, he was a ranger on the Upper Eastern Shore. He recently was our training coordinator for the state. So he provided a lot of fire training over the years for a lot of member companies. He was very active in the Kent and Queen Anne's, I think it was the Queen Anne's County program there where we taught students through MIFRE wildland fire training. So Chip also left through the VSP in October. Both those positions have been taken, so we don't have those vacancies anymore. And just covering the duties with other staff. Volunteer fire assistance grants were awarded to 55 companies in 18 counties. The 50-50 match grant, that was a total of $167,000 in funding. We're expecting similar levels of funding in '26, maybe slightly above the 25 monies in F26. And those notices will go out in the spring again, as they usually do, somewhere around April. Those notices will go out to all the fire companies in the state. Fire training, our annual safety refreshers and pack tests are going to take place early in the spring, probably in March. We do 2 sessions across the state, one in Sandy Point State Park and one in Fort Frederick State Park. Those are our annual safety refreshers for our wildland fire crew members that participate in our out-of-state fire programs. They have to have that annual recertification. Those will take place sometime in March. The 2025 Mid-Atlantic Wildfire Academy was once again held at Garrett College on June 9th through the 13th. Provided several training courses, basic introduction to wildland fire, as well as other leadership courses and fire behavior and things like that. About 250 participants from across the state, as well as other states and federal agencies attended that. 2026 Academy will once again be held at Garrett College from June 8th through the 12th. and registration for that will open to the public in March. Fleet, heavy equipment, over the last few years, we've been pretty fortunate to improve the shape of our fleet. Vehicles, including our brush trucks and things like that, we've been pretty fortunate. Most of our fleet is now in that 5-year-old range and under, which is unheard of for the Forest Service. So we've been pretty fortunate. This year didn't fare so well in FY26 as far as the fleet goes, but we'll be okay. We were also able to secure funding for a couple additional transport trucks, dozer transports. Those will be delivered sometime after the first of the year and will replace pretty much all of our heavy dozer fleet transports within the last 5 years. Also, we received 2 cabin chassis trucks that we're going to be building up into heavy Type 6 engines. These are the F550 crew cabs. These are generally what we send out of state to support our other states and federal partners on wildfires across the country, as well as for use here in the state for wildfires and prescribed fires. Interagency wildfire support in 2025. We were once again busy sending resources across the country. We participated in 6 states with 46 personnel. We sent out a couple single resources, about 6 engines, and a 1 hand crew. First dispatched in early May, and the last resources returned home in mid-October. So it was a pretty busy year. The program provides a lot of needed training for personnel, not just state personnel, but also members of the fire service that participate. The Forest Service relies on that training. A lot of our firefighters who participate get more fire experience in a 2-week period than they get in 2 years here in Maryland. So it's very beneficial for us. It also brings in a lot of funding for the state. This year, so far, we're billing for about $1 million through the federal government, which is a pretty good portion of our Forest Service budget. Again, the Federal Excess Property Program, just mentioned that. Again, if you have your companies are looking for a property, reach out to us. Things are few and far between right now. The military's not getting rid of as much good stuff as they normally do. They're holding on to it, or other people are beating us to the punch. But we do have access to a lot of different things. If you're looking for something particular, just reach out and let us know. Just wanted to mention one thing about the Forest Service in general. I saw a graph a couple days ago that about 60% of the Forest Service has 3 years of service or less. So a lot of new faces out there working with fire departments across the state. We are available to do drill nights and things like that. We haven't been doing those as much as we have historically, just because we have a lot of newer staff. But if your department is looking for a drill night and you want to learn about wildland fire or prescribed fire or something like that, just reach out. We want to get those newer people out in front of you guys. So we can, put faces with names and be better partners. So that's about all I have.
Thank you. Are there any questions by the members? Any questions from the folks that are sitting in the audience? All right, thank you very much. Enjoy your holiday. We'll break for lunch. We're going to do the raffle as she runs up here, and then we'll break for lunch. Lunch will be 45 minutes.
Starting now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank everyone for their donation. The winner gets $173. Ticket number is 413-9640.
Not even close.
413-9640.
Okay, who's the winner? Pull another number.
Check all your tickets. 413-9640. No?
Mine are all 9-5.
You got it. We'll find a winner yet.
Did anybody in the kitchen buy a ticket?
No.
Okay.
Okay, let's try this one. 413-9521. 9521.
413-9521.
That's here, I think.
There you go.
The chair.
It's good to be the chairman today. Ladies and gentlemen, please, 45 minutes for lunch. We'll get back and get our work started. I want to thank everyone for their attendance this morning, those who reported out. And at this time, we'll have the blessing of the food by the chaplain.
What a great morning with presentations and reports. I did have somebody that had come up for prayer. Stacy Faust with some health issues. The reports were great this morning, but there's one thing that really hit me special. Just realized it's 6 months, and they started talking about the convention, and I got goosebumps because I love the convention. I love the parade. I love everything about it. So much hard work. It truly is, but when you think back all the years and then when you talked about the parade, I think that's a wonderful thing. It's really nice. Kate and Robbie and Randy and everybody, just hard work. So let us pray. Oh Lord, bless this meal before us and bless the members of the East Newmarket Fire Department that has prepared the food and drink, and let it nourish our bodies and our minds and spirit. But also, Lord, please keep our parasympathetic nervous systems under control this afternoon so we can have a vibrant and exciting round of meetings this afternoon. And we pray these in your Heavenly Father's name. Amen.
Amen.